great, but there's also positives, the lionesses, Gloucestershire would have played here today, being part of a historical job done.
It was brilliant. You're going to be here all day. You're buying the factors done, is that right? Set up in a store so people can come along, they can say hello, but what else can they do as well?
Yeah, so we've got some merch, so we're all volunteers, so any funds that we do raise, like that aims to campaign, we've got little flares, badges, stickers, but we're also doing umbrellas, so the amazing t-shirts that the players are wearing, one will be signed by both the men's and women's team, and then we'll be wrapping them up. Very
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Lucy. Enjoy the day.
Thank you so much.
Lucy Paul there from her game too. Brilliant stuff. Come on, see Lucy and the team. And it's time for the show. What a prize that is. Okay. Stockington Manor School pupils are out for the guard final. We'll introduce them properly in a second before we welcome the players and officials. So much time for Blast Off.
The musical accompaniment to the 4 o'clock match is about to be with us. Good afternoon from the Seat Unique Stadium. This is Ian Randall and Dan Whiting with commentary on the Gloucestershire Glamorgan match in the Vitality Blast. Glamorgan played 6-1-3, lost 3. Gloucestershire played 5. You know the rest. Dan, the toss today, Glamorgan have decided to bat, having won the toss, and that they think is because it's not a fresh pitch for today, although we thought it was. Apparently it's the pitch from the Kent match. So is there a chance it will get slower and lower? And is that why Glamorgan think they want to bat first?
Yeah, quite possibly, and I don't think floodlights are going to come into play either. So, often it's easier to chase under lights, isn't it? But I think Gloucestershire might have done the same. But make no bones about this one, Ian. It's must win for Gloucestershire.
I had a conversation with somebody who said that, reminded me that generally 8 wins is what you need to get out of this group. Gloucestershire have got 9 matches left, I think.
Yeah, there's no wriggle room. No wriggle room at all, is there? So, and they've got some difficult ones. Although saying that, they've played 3 very difficult games, haven't they? They played Somerset, who are possibly the strongest side in the Southern Group, Hampshire away, where Gloucestershire haven't won since 2006, and Sussex, who are, again, a very good side, Daniel Hughes at the top of the order. So, for Gloucestershire, there's been a lot of sort of ugly vitriol on social media, but the boys need the fans to get behind them and get supporting them, and there's no better place than Seat Unique. The sun's out. There's a healthy crowd in already. Plenty have made the trip over the Severn Bridge as well. And Borodar to everyone tuning in from that neck of the woods on the other side of Offers Dyke. So, fantastic to have you with us as the umpires are almost ready. The umpires today will be Paul Baldwin and Chris Watts, with Peter Such, your match referee. And the Gloucestershire side, Ian, who are they?
The Gloucestershire side, 2 changes from the Somerset game. No James Bracey in the side today, so he drops out of the 11, as does Matt Taylor, and they bring in Tom Smith and Graham Van Buren, and Cameron Bancroft will keep wickets. So Bancroft, Hammond, Short, Ollie Price, Jack Taylor, Ben Charlesworth, Graham Van Buren, Zaman Akhtar, David Payne, Ajit Singh Dale and Tom Smith. Now, on the way down in the car today, I was just pondering that the Gloucestershire side has not had much spin in it in recent matches in the T20. You know, a lot of the core wins last year were because of the spinners, and they've gone back now to that, having a greater strength of strand in the selection.
Well, there's 5 in the side. You've got Darcy Short, Graham Van Buren, Tom Smith, Ollie Price and Jack Taylor. So there's 5 spinners in there.
And I think Glamorgan have 5 as well.
Talking of spinners, Ben Kellaway. Right arm, left arm. He's ambidextrous, and he's like you. He can drink red wine and white wine.
Not out of the same glass. But, you know, there is a strong spin thread through both teams. Glamorgan team, Kieran Carlson, Will Smale, Ben Kellaway, Colin Ingram, Chris Cook, Asa Tribe, Imad Wasim, the Pakistan T20 international, born in Swansea, mind you, signed this week. He made his debut last night. Dan Douthwaite, Tim von der Huchten, Mason Crane and Ned Leonard. Gloucestershire are on the way. The Glamorgan kit is very colourful.
Oh, it is. Not sure too many are going to be wearing that down St Mary's Street in Cardiff on a Friday night, but you never know. You see some sights down there.
And it will be Smale and Carlson who are opening the batting, and I'm sure it will be David Payne to bowl the first over. Lovely afternoon here in Bristol, very warm conditions, and I wonder if, well, it's hard to know. We had the first game here against Kent, we had basically a 200 plays 200 kind of game, and I wonder whether actually Gloucestershire would rather the games went back to 160 kind of level, because they probably think they've got a better chance of winning those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it will. I think what we saw in the women's game this morning, that the pitch came on nicely. The boundary has been pushed out a little bit further, but I think this is 200 job here. So David Payne is going to take us away. 2 fielders out in the power play. You've got Charlesworth at backward point and Ollie Price at deep backward square. Here he comes, David Payne. And that's worked out to Ollie Price.
Carlson away straight away.
Yeah, for a single.
I wonder when Bancroft last kept in a competitive match.
You do wonder if Bracey's injured. Or Niggle. You know, you do really wonder if Bracey's injured, because I'm not sure James Bracey has done too much wrong. Payne. Oh, he's bowled him! Smale goes, second ball of the match, first ball for him, and David Payne castles him, and that is the ideal start. The Shire are on fire.
And Will Smale is the replay, trying to work out, he just didn't pick the length. It's actually just clipped his pad on the way through, but he's just completely missed the length there.
That's exactly what Gloucestershire needed, wasn't it? Exactly the start they wanted.
And here is Kellaway, aforementioned. Hasn't played much in T20. He's got a stack of runs this season in the Championship, including a big 100. He's got 481 runs at 68 in the Championship this year. So, and he got what did he get last night? He got 28 last night, which was actually his highest score in this format. So, be interesting to see how he approaches this.
Yeah, and he's up against one of the top protagonists of his trade in David Payne. Wonderful, wonderful bowler. Played his 200th T20 the other night, didn't he?
Yeah, on
against
Friday.
Somerset.
That's right. I knew that was there or thereabouts in terms of him getting to that.
But Kellaway is a very talented cricketer from Chepstow Cricket Club. Here's Payne. Driven handsomely. It's got to be quick here, Hammondsey. Oh, he was gone there with a direct hit. That was dicey, wasn't it?
So you didn't want to get stuck at Payne's end. Trying to put the pressure back on the bowler. So Glamorgan have already played Sussex twice and Essex twice. They've beaten Essex twice, must be said.
Yeah, Essex haven't won a game yet this season. It's left alone. They lost to Middlesex, who, you know, whose form in this competition in recent years has been nothing short of dreadful. I mean, they haven't won at Lord's for 3 years, Middlesex, which is just a bizarre statistic, isn't it?
It is an odd one. It is an odd one.
I know they play a lot of their T20 now at Merchant Taylors and at Radlett, but not winning at Lord's for 3 years. Wow. That's edged. They're going to have to be quick. Oh, he was gone again. If that was a direct hit. This is suicidal from Glamorgan. Panic stations already.
Yeah, that's Van Beeren there. I mean, he's a pretty sharp fielder as a rule. We saw some good fielding in the women's game earlier on. Megan Belt with the direct hit at the bowler's end to effect one run out.
That's 4. That's gone down towards what we call Klinger corner, and officially it's the Jack Russell stand, but thick outside edge. And at the end of the first over, Glamorgan are 7 for 1.
It's good for Payne to get the early wicket, and one assumes that it will be Ajit Singh Dale to bowl from the Ashley Down Road end. He's had a lot of cricket in this first half of the season, Ajit Singh Dale. If you add the Lions game that you saw down at Canterbury in as well,
yeah,
he would be grateful for a little bit of a lighter diary. So this is a bit part of June. Singdale in from the far end. A big appeal for an LBW against Carlson, but not given. I mean, the game with Derbyshire is a week today, isn't it? And you'd expect Singdale to be playing in that.
Yeah, Singdale got warned for running on the pitch on Friday night against Somerset. It'll be interesting to see, because he's got to get off, hasn't he? He doesn't want to be attracting the attention of the umpires.
2 men out at backward point and at deep square at the moment. Singdale in. That's worked into the gap by Carlson. He'll take 1.
Yeah, Singdale in the Lions game bowled 25 overs in the first innings on a flat, docile Canterbury surface, and then just bowled 6 in the second innings.
I'm sure he wasn't too worried about that.
I bet he wasn't.
Ben Kellaway, 21 years old, waits for Singdale. Just nudges that into the onside, straight to Tom Smith. Back in the team today. Gloucestershire bringing Van Beeren and Smith in for Bracey and Matt Taylor. Ajit's not played much T20 overall. This is only his 10th match of his career. He's chiefly seen as a red ball bowler. Comes steaming in again. Oh, Kellaway fends at that and it goes through to Bancroft.
Yeah, though, you get players who get pigeonholed, don't you? You know, whether they're red ball or white ball players. And what's interesting is Singdale and Zaman Akhtar both come into this side having been predominantly red ball in recent years. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on over the next few games if they're given a run in the side.
Singdale wants Ollie Price to go a bit squarer at backward point, which he does. Comes in again. That's short, pulled into the leg side by Kellaway. Hooked really, but he didn't hit it with any great force. So therefore, Charlesworth, who's away on the boundary, had to come in and get the ball on about the 3rd bounce.
Gave him the hurry up a little bit there, didn't he? He's quick, Ajit Singdale.
I think he gives quite a few batsmen the hurry up, to be fair.
He'd certainly give me the hurry up.
I think I'd be ducking.
I'll be on square legs toes.
Bancroft standing a good 15 yards back from the stumps. Oh, and that might have been the slower one. Carlson didn't read it. And a good over for Ajit Singh Dale, just 2 singles. And Glamorgan are 9 for 1 after 2. So difficult to know what a good score might be on that. You said 200. The boundaries are pushed quite a long way back today on both sides of the ground, aren't they?
Yeah.
Therefore, the square hits are going to be powerful ones if they're made.
You're listening to Ian Randall, Dan Whiting here at the 7-side derby. Glamorgan making the short trip over the bridge. That's a thick outside edge, and that's 4 runs. Wasn't in control, but if you're going to flash hard, and Kellaway moves into double figures with that.
That gone straight to first slip. I suspect it might have done.
Yeah, it would have done. But,
let's have a look on the replay, see where it would have gone. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just moved to his right.
There was never a chance for Bancroft. It was going pretty quickly anyway.
Just line and length. David Payne doing what David Payne does. Seen a lot of players be quite treating him with respect. We spoke earlier during the women's game, didn't we, about how people are approaching David Payne. They're not going gung-ho at him. They're actually sort of seeing him off. And you can pick up 20 off David Payne's 4 overs. You're happy with that? Thick inside edge onto the pad, and they'll scramble a single.
It's a good start, this.
It's a good start, yeah.
Payne will probably only bowl 2 at this stage. That's often the way it works. And he might have maybe 1 over somewhere
around the 14th.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
And then the last.
They'll leave 1 somewhere towards the end.
It's a thick inside edge, so they'll scamper through. 1 there to.
No, this is a slightly different scenario. You umpire sometimes on a Saturday, don't you? How many overs do the teams play in the league that you umpire in?
50.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
And how many? Is it 10 per bowler?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
I know that. I always used to think if I played club cricket on a weekend, I only bowled 4 overs. I felt a bit shortchanged.
Yeah.
And yet here, 4 overs is the maximum.
Driven handsomely. That's 4 runs. That's a lovely shot. Kellaway showing his class.
Good timing. Not really overhit that. Just all about placement.
Yeah, it's not a half volley either. He's actually manufactured that and made it. It's a really good shot. Yeah, I mean, at the moment our sides just play 50-50 straight shootout. But back in the day, it was a time game with a room for a draw there. And there was no restrictions on the bowlers. Sometimes you get one bloke bowling 26 from one end, unchanged. Payne, and is that gone for 4? It's runs. It's a drop catch from Bancroft. He's got a little feather on that, and Bancroft, ball bursts through the Australian's gloves and goes away to the Ashley Down Road end for 4 runs. That's the end of the 3rd over. 23 for 1. It could have quite easily been 19 for 2.
Yeah, just got the tips of the gloves, didn't it? Bancroft didn't really get to it.
Pink for Sid this Friday. Gloucestershire versus Hampshire. Get your tickets on the website.
Here's Singdale in for his 2nd over, and that's over the top from Carson. He's just done enough, and that's very well stopped from Miles Hammond. Ajit Singdale applauds.
That's outstanding from Miles Hammond.
Really good bit of fielding.
He's got a point to prove. He doesn't drop many, but he dropped one on Friday night against Somerset out on the deep mid-wicket boundary.
Jack Taylor just asking Singdale if he wants him to drop out at long on. The answer is no at the moment, and that's another short one from Singdale. He just tumbles over in his follow-through.
He does that a lot.
Carlson kept that shot down. He went straight to Tom Smith. There wasn't a run.
Singdale's got Mark Wooditis.
25 for 1 in the fourth. Having decided they bat first, Glamorgan. Conscious the pitch might slow up a bit later on. 4 on the offside, saving 1 for Singdale. Again, it's short, but it's following Carlson. He doesn't get a touch. He sways away and tries to scoop it over Van Buren, who was up at the World Test Championship earlier in the week. He and Marchant were up there
in their South African rugby jerseys.
I don't think Marchant had one on. Graham definitely did.
Yeah, I think Marchant had a South African hat. Marchant having played for both of these sides.
Singdale steams it again. That's cut away pleasantly. A good stop from Ollie Price on the run. They come back for 2. Carlson's no slacks between the wickets. But good work again from Ollie Price in front of the bandstand. Good crowd in for a Sunday. It's a different sort of demographic of a crowd on a Sunday, much more family orientated. But a good number in, including about half a dozen who think that it's a good idea to sit in the Mike Proctor. Carlson again. Oh, that's gone very high in the air. It should be caught. Smith's underneath it. Safe as houses, Tom Smith in that situation. And Carlson goes. Ajit has his wicket. And Gloucestershire have got 2 wickets in the power play. And
yeah, deserves that, Ajit.
tried to hoik it from outside off stump. It didn't get up as much as he thought. And Smith back in the team and back in the dismissals.
Just toe-ended it up into the air, but Singdale has gone for 6 runs off 10 balls in the power play. That's pretty good going.
So here's Colin Ingram.
Now this guy is the danger man, isn't he? He can take a game away from you
Very experienced.
pretty quickly.
Not many people will have played more T20 cricket than Colin Ingram. 369 appearances in this format. There'll be some over 300 in the county game. Sam Billings might be one, but Ingram is 39 now, and he might even have a role to play with the ball later on. He has played here in T20 as a bowler in his earlier time with Glamorgan and caused trouble with the ball, that is. Left-hander, of course. Singdale to bowl to him. But as a rule, he's pretty calm. So the question is, how calm will he be in this situation? 28 for 2, off 4, and Singdale, strangely, compared to David Payne, the more economical one at the moment.
Yeah, this is Glamorgan's engine room here. A couple of South Africans, Colin Ingram and Chris Cook, who's probably due in next. Both 39 years old now as well. They've been around a hell of a long time.
So here's the change, and the change that is possible by the selection change. Van Buren in during the power play.
Interesting. Things you didn't think you'd ever see.
Oh, he's bowled at the power play. I mean, he's opened the bowling before.
Yeah, but you know, when we turned up this morning, would you have said A, he's going to play, and B, would he be bowling in the power play?
I think possibly, and I wasn't sure.
Here he is. As that's just nurdled into the leg side by Ingram. He'll just work the ball around initially before the fireworks will begin.
That ball from Van Buren just followed him, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what you find as a left-hander with Graham bowling at you.
Be interesting to see how Imad Wasim gets on here.
So 5 on the offside saving 1.
That's cut. That's going to be 4 runs. Kellaway finding the gap with precision. Moves into the 20s.
So 5 on the offside, and he still managed to find the gap. That was good placement.
He looks a lovely player. Van Buren short, and Kellaway gets this one square. They're going to think about 2, but that's really good work from Zaman Akhtar out there, I think, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Interesting. Who's Ollie Price? Is he? Oh, he's down at long off or long on to. Oh, it's a wide. It's sharp hands from Bancroft though. That hasn't missed leg stump by much. I don't know if we can see a replay of this, but that is perilously close. Ingram going right across his stumps and almost getting bowled around his legs. That's worked with a smidgen of bottom hand out to Price at long on.
Had to be confident there, Ingram, because he went back to a ball that was not that short.
No, and Van Buren skids it on a little bit, doesn't he? It's into the pads. The diminutive South African not giving Kellaway any room to get his levers going. It's going to be a leg by. But Gloucestershire will take this. 36 for 2 at the end of the 5th. This is a pretty good power play. If they can keep this under 45, I think they'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, where Gloucestershire were the other night against Somerset. Was it 46 at the end of the power play?
Yeah, and you sort of had this feeling it was never going to be enough.
So Ajit Singh Dale has bowled 2 overs and he's been withdrawn out of the attack. And it will be Zaman Akhtar to bowl from the Ashley Down Road end. So that will leave Singh Dale with 2 for later. 2 overs, 1 for 7. It's a good start from him. Zaman Akhtar then from the Ashley Down Road end. And steered just in front of Singh Dale, and he might try and hit the stumps, and he does, but Ingram was in, and they're not going to run one on the overthrow. But it was a good stop from Ajit. He didn't quite reach it on the full to affect the catch, but he still hit the stumps with the throw.
It's brilliant from Ajit Singh Dale. Almost trodden his sunglasses though. You don't want to do that, Ajit.
I'm sure there'll be a sponsor ready to give him another pair.
Don't ruin the shades.
Umpire Chris Watts happy to put the bails back on the top of the red stumps. Now Ingram, he's batting on off stump there. Waits for Akhtar. Works that away on the leg side for a single. Down to Ollie Price. After today, Gloucestershire's next match is next Friday here at the Seat Unique, and then a championship game follows on the Sunday week today against Derbyshire. So a lot of cricket here on the ground at the moment. Well bowled by Akhtar, almost yorking Ben Kellaway, but his bat was down very low and he had no option but to block it. But clever bit of bowling and an astute defensive shot, checked by the batsman at the last minute.
First time in T20 that Gloucestershire have played Glamorgan for 2 years here in Bristol. The game last year was at Cheltenham.
Akhtar close to the stumps. Kellaway drives it, hits the stumps, and still goes all the way for 4. That shows how hard he hit that. Miles Hammond tried to dive to stop it at mid-off and didn't do so, and the ball still ricocheted all the way up to the rope in front of the apartments for 4.
It's like watching a bit of pinball there, wasn't it?
Shows how sweetly that was struck. And Kellaway at the moment it's a one-man attack from him against the Gloucestershire bowlers. Actor in, and that should be 6 more. Just short, 1 bounce 4. Helped on his way, too short from Actor, even though it was outside the off stump. When he hit it, it looks as if it was going to go all the way over the rope and into the boards, but in the end it just lost some of its pace towards the end. And 2 boundaries made this a good over for Glamorgan.
Yeah, the line and the length were wrong there.
47 for 2. 1 ball to go in the power play. Tom Smith will get ready to bowl perhaps. Steered away by Kellaway. He's going to keep the strike, and that's probably fine for Glamorgan if he does. So a good over 12 from it. And Kellaway, out of that total of 48, has 34. So he's got nearly 75% of his team's runs.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, you've been out for a Father's Day lunch or you've just been down the pub. The news here is Glamorgan won the toss and elected to bat, and after the power play they're 48 for 2. They lost Smale. First ball, he went bowled by David Payne, and then Coulson misjudged a pull and toe-ended it right up in the air, and Tom Smith took a comfortable catch. Talking of Tom Smith, he's coming into the attack.
Now outside the power play, he's got the cover of a deep point and a long off.
Tossed up, and there's Tom Smith in a nutshell. Experienced, canny, the thinking man's cricketer.
Definitely in your polite heaven.
Oh, without a doubt. That's driven square. Charlesworth picks up and gets the ball into the gloves of Bancroft. Used from a Gloucestershire perspective, Glamorgan are unchanged, but from a Gloucestershire perspective, James Bracey is missing from this one. He doesn't miss many. He's a regular in all 3 formats. And Matt Taylor, who's also sitting this one out. In come Graham Van Buren and Tom Smith.
Both of whom we've seen bowl already, and we're only in the 6th over, only in the 7th over of the Glamorgan innings.
Smith going over the wicket to the left-handed Ingram, who reverse sweeps but can't get it past Ajit Singh Dow, a yard either side. That was 4 runs, but just gets it slightly, well, he hit it too well in a way. Driven up to long on for a single. There's the Glamorgan 50, comes up after 46 balls. Good drift there from Smith, angling it into the legs of Kellaway. He moves on to 36 now. Ingram's got 5.
I know we joke about Klinger corner, so to speak. That's the corner in front of the Mark Lane stand, which is the shortest part of the ground. But Michael used to be probably the best judge of what a good total will be, and I wonder if Ingram at the moment is working out what he thinks Glamorgan need to get to, and he's just trying to make sure that they have a chance of getting there by not losing silly wickets in this middle part of the innings.
Yeah, that was just one cut there to Miles Hammond, a backward point. Glamorgan 52 for 2 now after 7. So they're rattling on at 7 and over, and having built a good platform. The Wasp is showing 172. I think it might be slightly higher.
I'm not so sure about that. I wonder whether that that might be about right. I was actually going to say 160. So anyway, Darcy Short into the attack. So we've got a left arm wrist spinner, and we've got a bowler who can bowl both slow left arm and off breaks in the same game.
Yeah, unusual to say the least.
Here is Short then from the Ashley Down road end, only off a couple of paces. And oh, Ingram's decided that's going to go for 6 first ball. That was a loosener, and he's hit it over the sight screen and not into the flats, but just far enough that it can be returned by a spectator from the stand at that end. That was a gentle opener and a clean strike.
Yeah, Bristol and Cardiff can be quite similar grounds. They're both quite short, straight down the ground.
By just checking the ball is still round enough to go through the hoop. Paul Baldwin, the umpire at that end of the ground. So Short to Ingram, and he's got his 6 already, so he's no need to go completely crazy at this point in the proceedings, only in the 8th over. So Kellaway has now got 2 on the leg side to worry about. If he's going to try and attack through that area of the ground, and he's placed that beautifully through extra cover for 4. That is a lovely shot.
That's absolute class. That's a really good shot. It's a proper cricket shot. It's not a T20 slog. That's a proper cricket shot.
He's just placed that into the gap. There is cover on the rope, but he timed it so well. And then, let's see, you get the boundary, you take the single off the next ball, or take the strike. So many cricketers say that. Don't get too excited after getting a boundary to get another boundary. No, just take the one. And Darcy Short thinks they might have a chat for LBW against Ingram here, but that's turned down by Paul Baldwin. It is giving us a leg by, so there was no bat involved.
Yeah, Darcy doesn't look too happy with that. Oh, I can see why as well. That's an interesting one.
Kellaway, 41 already. Can't pierce the field on the offside this time. Jack Taylor's there, but a profitable over, 13 from it. And Glamorgan 65 for 2 off 8. Earlier in the day, if you weren't with us, the Gloucestershire women beaten in the end by Kent by 35 runs, despite an unbeaten half century from B. Willis in the chase, who batted throughout the whole of the 20 overs. Gloucestershire couldn't though overhaul their target of 183. Here already, Carlson caught by Tom Smith off Singdale for 8, and Will Smale bowled by his first ball, second ball of the match, David Payne for a duck.
Tom Smith from the pavilion end. Driven straight down the ground. Price keeps it to 1. Remember Friday, it's pink for Sid. David Lawrence, president, who's David Lawrence MBE. Yeah, having been honoured this weekend, and rightly so, being struck down with the cruel motor neurons disease. Oh, that's reverse sweeping, gets it up and over, and Kellaway looks like he's on for a big one here.
Well, this is already his best score in T20. I appreciate it's a very small sample, he's not played a great deal, but he's coming with a very free hand here at the result of the fall of the wicket to the second ball, and he's looked at home since he first took guard.
Smith just angling this one into his legs. Kellaway settling for one. Yep, so you can get your tickets for Friday. It's wear pink. Pink for Sid at glossccc.co.uk, and come along, support him. He's hoping to be here as well. It'll be an emotional evening. That's 6 runs from the moment it left the bat. Absolutely no doubt about that. Ingram absolutely bullies that one over long off. That's the 50 partnership up, and this is looking ominous for Gloucestershire, because this looks like a really good surface, and Glamorgan are just putting their foot on the accelerator pedal. And again, 6, get 1, get down the other end. Good cricket.
And I imagine that, given Kellaway's age and relative experience, and Ingram's age and relative experience, the one is talking to the other a lot out there, I would guess, about, you know, particularly after he's played a big shot, about what should follow.
That's cut off the stumps, but only to David Payne at short third. That completes the over, 78 for 2. I think Kellaway made his debut here in T20 for Glamorgan a couple of years ago. Got a feeling he did. Or it was one of his very first few games anyway.
I will check that.
Yeah. You know these things far more than I do, Ian.
I wouldn't say that. That's probably out of my memory, but I can try and check it. T20 debut? In fact, yes, at Bristol 2023. Good knowledge.
See, some things I do retain. I don't retain much, but I do retain that. Anyway, we're going to have a change of bowling at the Ashley Down Road end.
So short off after 1 over. Zaman Akhtar back into the attack to bowl to Ingram. And that's down the leg side and given as a wide by Paul Baldwin. So the field for Akhtar, he's got a deep cover on the rope. Mid-off, backward point, short third man. And then on the leg side, he's got a short, fine leg, a deep square and a deep mid wicket. So there's awful lot of space on that offside, on that onside, and the Kellaway's going to come back for 2, and they just about make it because Hammond is also out at long on, and he and Short were converging on that to try and keep them down to a single, but they didn't make it. Glamorgan nearly going at 9 and over. Akhtar. And down the leg side again. Bancroft can't take it, and Jeet Singh Dale's on the chase. That may run away from him. That's very well stopped. Saved his side 2 runs. It was wides anyway, but it might have gone for 4, but for a dive from Jeet Singh Dale.
Yeah, these are freebies, I'm afraid.
Zaman Akhtar was quite expensive on Friday. Coming in, that's chopped away straight to Payne, but they'll still take 1. He's right on the edge of the circle there at short third man.
Kellaway, Chepstow lad. Talking of Chepstow, there's a lovely lady here at Gloucestershire called Ruth Charville. Supports Gloucestershire, goes everywhere, all over the country. And she's not been very well recently, and she's bought some lovely blackberries and cherries, I believe. Raspberries and cherries.
Akhtar into Kellaway, into the gap he goes on the offside. There shouldn't even be 1 there. Short is out on the boundary in front of the new scoreboard. All the key information for the spectators on the ground.
No doubt Ian Randall will be having a cherry in his Cinzano later. After Evensong.
Akhtar in. Oh, tried to York Ingram. He squeezed it away. past a partial stop from David Payne. There's a chase for Van Beeren down towards the boundary in front of the club office, and they'll take 2.
Brilliant from David Payne. Saved 2 runs there. Still throwing himself around. He's what, 34?
34, yes. Ingram on 25, now 26. He'll get a single into the onside. So our next couple of overs have been quite expensive, and this one's not done yet.
There's a group of Gloucestershire players, isn't there? Sort of all around the mid-30s mark. Tom Smith's the senior, the elder statesman at 37, but then you've got David Payne at 34, Jack Taylor 33, Graham Van Beeren 34. Chris Dent's about 34, I think, as well, isn't he?
I think 33, not sure. That's down the leg side, very wide and given as such. They're trying to give Kellaway the hurry up there, but not really accurate enough. Dent's actually only 32.
Sorry, Chris, if you're listening. I've done you a disservice there, mate.
Actually going to Kellaway. Oh, that's pulled, and that will be 6, and that will be the half century for Kellaway. And his first in T20 cricket, and it's been an impressive knock. Yes, there's been some brutal blows in there, but 1 or 2 very, very nice shots. And he is the big danger to Gloucestershire at the moment. No question about it.
Yeah, it's been a lovely 50. A mix of brain and brawn.
So they've scored 48 off the last 4 overs, Glamorgan. I mean, 48 for 2 at the end of the power play. They've scored 48 off 7, 8, 9 and 10 between them. 18 off the last over.
Yeah, they've got the foundations here for an imposing total. Ollie Price is going to come into the attack. Jack Taylor just shuffling his pack, trying to magic a wicket, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, Ollie Price has only bowled in 1 game so far this season. Took 2 for 28 in the game he did bowl in.
That's Sussex away.
I think it might have been.
Yeah. And he comes around the wicket. Ooh, just follows Ingram. But he gets it out to Actor, out on the deep cover boundary.
So he is the 4th spinner from Gloucestershire we've seen in 11 overs. The 4th different spinner. And maybe a trend for the match.
Maybe John Lennon was lying when he said, "You may say that I'm a seamer." Price around the wicket. Oh, he's just about stumped there by Bancroft. That's the end of Kellaway, and Ollie Price, the golden arm, strikes again. Just second ball, and Kellaway departs for a fine 53 of just 31 balls.
Bancroft will say, look in the book. It doesn't tell you how I did it, but here is how he did it on the replay. It was quite possibly the scruffiest stumping of his career, but he's done it in the end. And the key point is, from Gloucestershire's point of view, that they have got Kellaway out.
But you love just to see a keeper flicking one bail off.
And here is Chris Cook.
Yeah, now Chris Cook, he's a big hitter, hard hitter.
I still think that these 2 are unlikely to go really into overdrive quite yet. I still think they're going to be. What was Mark Allane's comment to Ed Seaborn on Friday night? Perhaps we've been trying to go from 0 to 60 too quickly. Yeah. Well, I don't think these 2 will do that.
No, I think they'll sit up to like 15, 16 overs, and then, you know,
if they can get
press the nuclear option.
Yeah, if they could be 5/8. They could be 140 with 4 to go. Take that.
Oh, big appeal for LBW. It's probably pitched outside leg stump, hasn't it? It's a leg bias. There's no bat involved. Let's have another look at this. Oh, it's close. Certainly close to leg stump. This is good from Ollie Price, though.
3 out now on the leg side for him with the left-hander Ingram on strike.
Driven handsomely. You're going to take one though, because Darcy Shaw is in quick off that line, runs around it and hurls it in left arm to his fellow Western Australian Cameron Bancroft. Ollie Price took an absolutely wonderful caught and bowled here against Glamorgan a few years ago. I think everyone who was on the ground at the time will remember it. Just one of those Ollie Price moments. There's the Glamorgan 100, comes up 1 ball shy of 11 overs. Gloucestershire just wanting to put the brake on. Can Ollie Price get out of this over? Yes, he can with a dot ball. Just 4 off it, and the crucial wicket of Ben Kellaway. That's really good from the all-rounder.
Yeah, just as a comparison, I mean, you may say this is kind of an irrelevance in a way, but in the first game of the day, when the Kent women were batting, they were 98 for 2 after 11, and they got to 182. So I wonder if that's where Glamorgan might be looking to get to. They're 1-8. The Wasp says 189.
Yeah, I'm not sure though you can compare men and women's cricket, because you know the power of the men comes into it.
Tom Smith back into the attack, and Chris Cook on strike. Just plays that quietly out onto the offside. Jack Taylor fielding. He's got quite a big area to patrol in front of square on the offside there. He's on his own with nobody within 25 yards of him. Cook again on the nudge for a single. Smith
lost the ball.
Stopped the ball and then had absolutely no idea where it was.
It's like a chicken laying an egg.
He couldn't get up fast enough, and he couldn't get up because he didn't know where the ball was.
What you can compare though is Kent here a couple of weeks ago. After 11 overs, they were 101 for 1 and went on and got 208 for 3. Glamorgan, after 11 overs, were 100 for 3, so similar scores.
But 3 down. That perhaps is the key. You've still got Asa Tribe, Dan Douthwaite to come. Both can hit quite a long ball, but a lot will depend on these two. Van Beeren's just moved a bit straighter by Tom Smith. Ingram waits and just says, okay, I'll have one there, thanks. Just trying to get Cook into the game, I think, here, Ingram.
Ian, I've got a question for you. Well, it's a serious one. It's a proper cricketing one. It's not one of my norms. Do you think T20 is going like 50 over cricket, where maybe overs like 9 to 15 sides just nerdle it about for ones?
Ingram wasn't trying to do that there. Right, Cook rather. Play the reverse sweep, didn't get a touch on it. So let me bounce that back. Is that seen as a quiet time in the game?
Yeah.
Snapped away by Cook, straight though to Actor on the boundary in front of the main scoreboard.
It's low risk. It's keep the scoreboard ticking over. No dot balls, but not trying to smash the ball out the park either. Is this what we're seeing now in T20 cricket? Is it sort of the tactics now?
Is it becoming predictable? Is it becoming too predictable?
Who knows?
Smith close to the stumps.
Well, there goes that
Hoiked
theory.
away by Ingram for 6 away over long on. That was he just waited for the right ball to hit. Been a quiet over up until that point.
Cook's just debunked my myth.
Yeah, but Ingram here really wound up for that, and he has gone on to 35 from 22. 109 for 3, off 8 to go. Another wicket would be useful from Gloucestershire's point of view at this stage. They probably need Ingram out, to be fair, because Cook has just come in, and if they can't get Ingram out, they've got to keep him off strike. Jack Taylor just changing his field a little bit. Ollie Price has come round the wicket to the right-hander, and
news from down the M5 at Taunton. Kent are 154 for none of 13. Daniel Bell Drummond on the cusp of 100.
Drop short by Price.
Yeah, it's just turned into the leg side. They're going to come back for 2, and they get it. It's good running. MATCHDAY having to make a lot of ground. Got it right into the pocket there. Scores on Nelson. Bell Drummond's just got his 100. No one likes to see that, do they?
Oh.
Pulled out to Tom Smith, and just one.
Got a kind bounce for Smith there. That could have been a really awkward one. He was waiting, and the ball almost popped up in front of him, which was very helpful.
That's a dot ball. This is good from Ollie Price. Gone for 6 off 9 balls. And the wicket of Kellaway. One.
It's just
to Ingram.
It's just following the left-hander. That ball, it's not turning, it's just going straight on, isn't it? But it's just going from the crease. I mean, to force it away all the way along the ground up to long on. Just a safe shot for a single, but it's only a single.
Width from Price. It's half fielded by Jack Taylor, but they'll come through for a single.
Start looking at who's got what left. Payne's got 2 left. Singdale's got 2 left. Tom Smith's got 1 left. Other than that, plenty of options. This is Ollie Price's second over.
That's going to be a wide. I think Price thought that Ingram was going to give him the charge there. Just shoved it a little wider. Played into the offside to Tom Smith. 115 for 3 at the end of the 13th.
So only 6 off the over. Ollie Price has bowled 2 overs for 10, which is absolutely ideal in this situation. Now he's got the wicket of Kellaway as well. So Jack Taylor might go with Smith, with Ollie Price once again, but he's going to go back to pace from the Ashley Down road end. Ajit Singh Dale's coming back. 2 overs, 1 for 7 in his opening spell.
He's been bowling himself quite a bit, Jack Taylor, in this campaign as well. Well, not a lot, but he'll come on and sort of bowl the 14th or 15th, 16th overs.
Yeah, he's bowled in 2 matches so far.
But he'll bowl at that, you know, that time when it can go round the ground. He'll go and do the dirty job, Jack Taylor.
So Singdale, with Payne having quite a long chat with him before coming down here to short third man. Long on and long off, both back. Third man and fine leg both up for Singdale. Around the wicket to Ingram. Just drops it in front of him, and Singdale on the follow through. Fields off his own bowling at no cost.
Wasp at 188 at the moment. But Glamorgan He's got 7 wickets with 6 and a bit overs to go. I think it's time to put their foot on the accelerator pedal.
Well, they'll be a little bit wary of perhaps the inexperience of people like Tribe, particularly who's due in next, but Ingram carves that straight to Charlesworth, who puts it down. It was a low chance, away on the boundary at, well, a squarish cover, but you'd expect him to catch those. It was low, but it spilt straight out. And that chance comes with Ingram on 37.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed in that, Ben.
Well, Salmon dropped one on Friday, and that was a key chance as well, you felt. Cook back on strike, wants 2 as he works Singdale down to find David. David Payne's onto it quickly, only just a single.
Very good from Ajit Singdale so far. 15 balls bowled by him, just 9 runs plus the wicket of Kieran Carlson.
And 1 chance dropped.
Yeah.
Where's that gone from Ingram? It's high in the air, and it's taken this time. Safely pouched by Darcy Short. And Ingram has to go, and that is an important wicket, and Ajit Singh does deserve that. So twice Gloucestershire have got into a position where the opposition have got a batter well set and apparently really about to click into overdrive, and on both occasions they've got them out. Kellaway first to Ollie Price, and now Ingram out for 38. That chance from Charlesworth in the end not costly, and Ingram goes. What was it? It's a strange sort of shot. He got a bit tight for space.
I think that Ajit Singdale might have done him for a little bit of pace there, if I'm honest with you. I think he's given him a hurry up and he's just got underneath it as opposed to flat batting it into the city of Bristol College. But here's Asa Tribe, man from the Channel Islands.
I wasn't sure until I read about how he got into the Glamorgan team, literally how you would spot somebody playing there, and then they end up in county cricket. And in fact, he was, as you say, he grew up in Jersey, then went to Cardiff Met University.
They've used that as a talent pool, haven't they?
And then got the invitation to play in Glamorgan 2s and went from there. Just dabs the first one out on the offside. That's a dot to start with.
I think Douthwaite's come through there. I think Andy Gorvin's come through there as well, hasn't he? Through Cardiff Met.
He's having a really good season in the Championship, Gorvin. Not playing in this game, but...
Because he's from Pompey originally. He's a Portsmouth lad. And Morgan have fished in that pool quite regularly.
Peg this chance back now to get to 180. Singdale to Tribe. Oh, he might have nicked that, but he played inside the line. That's a really good over from Ajit Singh. Only 2 off it, and he's taken 2 for 9 in 3 overs. It's a really good effort. I suspect he won't be held back to bowl the last over. I would have thought that might be David Payne's job, but he's had a really good effort here with the ball, and Glamorgan 118 for 4, 6 to go.
Yeah, Ollie Price and Ajit Singdale, between them, 5 overs, 3 for 19. That's
potentially defining stuff. Payne's still got 2 overs left.
Anyway, Ollie Price has been removed from the attack for Tom Smith. Cook gets his feet moving and works one into the leg side. just for a single because Miles Hammond's in quickly off the line.
Got to be a little bit careful here, Glamorgan, because they don't want to fall in a heap and end up at 150. So I suspect they might go a little bit, even though we've only got a little over 5 overs to go, I think they might still not look to press the pedal too hard just yet.
Here's Asa Tribe, bespectacled. Looks like Harry Potter. And his magic gets him off the mark there. Just works one round the corner with his wand. Played at Crouch End Cricket Club in North London a couple of years ago, Asa Tribe. Middlesex County Premier League. That's swept. Salmon Actor watching that all the way. One bounce into his hands, but ones at this stage of the game are all right for Gloucestershire. They won't mind that, as long as they don't start leaking boundaries all over the place.
Yeah, run a ball from here, they'd take that.
That's swept, and there's one of the boundaries we spoke about. 6 runs. Tribe absolutely mullers that one.
Flat 6, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. He might come from Jersey. I don't think Bergerac could have hit that one any better.
I was going to say a flat 6 is generally something you associated with a musical term, I think, but that was very much at the right tone.
Going for the cut. Smith just pushing that one wide of off stump. 127 for 4. Tribe on 7. Cook 10. It's out to long off to Ollie Price.
Didn't time that Tribe, did he?
No, they'll take a single. 5 overs remaining. 128 for 4. And is Asa Tribe the first sportsman called Asa since Asa Hartford, the footballer?
There was a footballer in the, how can I put this, League 1, League 2 kind of era. I think Oxford amongst the Asa Hall.
Yes, I remember. I remember the name.
Was it Oxford amongst other places? That's about the only one I can think of.
So, just on the screen there,
So
Friday the 11th of July, ABBA here. Ian Randall, he'll be there.
Well, take a chance.
You might take a chance. He's a super trooper, I know that. Here's David Payne.
Dabbed away by Tribe down to Singdale at 3rd man for a single. So this is Payne's 3rd over. So if he bowls 16, 16 and 18 perhaps. Singdale's got 1 left. He's been very effective so far. Tom Smith's now bowled out, 4 overs for 36. All the other bowlers you still have at least 1 left. Payne to Cook from the Ashley Down Road end. Oh, Cook goes straight down the ground. It's safe. He'll only get 1, I suspect, because the throw is in quickly. Good work. They're in front of the apartments. Ollie Price is out there. Long on. Now, how does Tribe cope with Payne? Glamorgan up to 130. Well, the answer is he doesn't. It was a slower ball. Tribe didn't read it. Tried to dab it down to 3rd man, didn't get a touch.
Yeah, Payne just rolling his fingers over that one. Bowling it like an off-cutter.
I wonder at what score are Glamorgan definitely in the game here, Dan? 170?
I think they're in the game at 160, but you'd want really sort of 175, 180, I think, ideally.
Payne short. Tribe plays a tennis smash shot, hits the ball down into the ground and away out to deep mid wicket. We'll only get 1. The key point is to stop to stop the sixes really. Even the, you know, the occasional boundary is not ultra damaging. If you can stop the sixes, that's the real key part of these closing overs. Payne in his third, bowls to Cook, and slower ball, and Cook misses it. Deceived by the trajectory, got through the shot too soon.
Yeah, David Payne, he's gone for 3 off 5 balls. Can he get out of the over now without leaking a boundary?
Do well if he can. That will leave Glamorgan only 4 overs left. Cook waits once more. That's a swat. Away into the outfield. Can Price reach? Oh, it's a wonderful catch.
Wowzers!
That's an Ollie Price special, one-handed, sprinting along the outfield, and that's a tremendous effort from him, low down. It's hit away by Payne. Here's a replay of him, and that's a tremendous effort. He didn't have a lot of...
I saw him down at
momentum.
Canterbury take one over his head, one-handed, and that's in my top 3 of all time. That's not far. I reckon that's number 4.
Another look at this. The risk always here is that when the arm comes down, the elbow, when it hits the ground, sees the ball bounce out. But Price, eye on the ball, can only went to it with one hand, and he uses his other arm just to cushion his body so that the bump he takes as he comes to the floor doesn't dislodge the ball. Tremendous effort.
Absolutely outstanding, and David Payne gets his 2nd wicket, and it's a dot ball as well, and the dangerous Chris Cook goes, but whatever Joseph Price, I mean, is there anything he can't do?
Dan Douthwaite, I think, has come out at number 7.
Short into the attack, that's pulled, and Hammond can't reach that. It's too short from Darcy.
Might have wanted another man out on the leg side possibly, but Hammond was fairly close to that. He had ground to make up. But
Yeah,
in the end, the ball was just too well placed, really.
You can't set a field for bad bowling, no. Short appealing for that. It's pitched outside leg stump, I think. But if you drop half trackers, you can't set a field for that. That's heaved into the leg side. I'm just going to take one. Zamanakta's got a bullet arm.
So this is the 17th over. Payne's got 1 left. Singdale's got 1 left. Surely both those 2 will bowl out. And then you've got to find 1 from somewhere else. Price would be favourite at the moment, you'd have thought.
Short bowling. The googly there. And they're trying to pull him into the offside, but it's the wrong one. It's going away from the right-hander. It's most unusual you see this. You don't get many bowlers, left armers, bowling out the back of the hand. Again, bowls the same. Akhtar, is he gonna, can't keep them to a single though as they scamper back for a second. 139 for 5, Tribe on 17 of just 13 balls. Douthwaite 1 off 1. Again,
Douthwaite's quite a big fella to be scampering.
He is, yeah, he is. 3 overs left, 140 for 5.
Yeah, three tens, we're getting to 170. Gloucestershire will be very disappointed to concede 3 tens from here, but they've done well, so they've conceded 40 runs in the last 6. It's not been one really big expensive over in this innings, and that's been the key point.
They've conceded 44 in the last 8 though. Gloucestershire have really dragged this one back, because I mean they were looking at 200 at one point, and I'd be surprised if Glamorgan got to 200 from here.
Oh, bloody yes. That would be carnage if they did.
Well, you never know.
So Singdale to bowl out then. He will bowl the 18th. I suspect that means that Payne will be kept for the last one. Singdale from the Ashley Down Road end, that's full, and it's just gone past the dive of Jack Taylor for 4. Not of Jack Taylor, rather of
Short.
Darcy Short for 4. He got down to it, but it was hit straight right off the bottom of the bat towards the apartment boundary, and when it got through him it still had enough pace on it. He partially stopped it, but it kept going all the way to the rope.
I think that's the first boundary Singdale's conceded.
Might well be right. Tribe on 22. Backs away, cracks it into the ground, but Singdale fields off his own bowling. Good bit of work. As we've seen 4 different spinners for Gloucestershire. Van Beeren, Smith, Short and Ollie Price. They're all going to have plenty of options themselves. Short pulled by Tribe into the onside. They'll get one out to Hammond. Just a single. And I'll argue because they've got 2 spinners in one with Kellaway.
Yeah.
It's a very... I don't know of any other current or prior first-class cricketer who's been able to do what he does.
You throw in his deucer and his arm ball, he's got 6 different deliveries from 2 arms.
Singdale in. Oh, completely deceives Daffett with the shorter.
I think he's got an edge on that, and it's fallen short. I'd like to have another look at this, but judging from the reaction of the crowd, let's have another look. Yeah.
Daffett completely deceived by the trajectory of that. Singdale back at the end of his run. Comes storming in again, then that's wide outside the off stump and signalled a wide. That was made of the fact that he'd bowled a lot in red ball cricket, and you know, how do you switch from red ball to white ball in relatively short space of time? And I think his first couple of outings suggested that he hadn't settled into that different format, but today so it looks like he has. Pulled away by Douthwaite into the onside, away up to wide long on the try, come back for 2, and they just make it.
Wow,
they have to really scuttle to do that. I mean, they've got to push now because this is the 18th over. There's no way that 1-1 was really going to be enough there. They just about made it back. It was a bit risky, but the risk they had to take. So unless it's a no ball, this is Singdale's final delivery. Oh, it could be a 3rd wicket. High in the air. Will it drop safe? Hammond underneath it. Takes the catch. Really good tumbling effort from Miles Hammond, and Ajit Singdale finishes with 3 wickets. 3 for 17 from 4 overs. And just to prove that if you really have got a gun fast bowler, and that's what he is, they can have an impact in this short format. He's been helped there by another fine catch. Ollie Price with one earlier on off David Payne, and now Hammond in on the act as well.
Yeah, and more importantly at this stage of the game as well, it's a dot ball. But Gloucestershire have been impressive here. They've shown character. They've been under the cosh. This is a must-win game, and you know, I know we're less than halfway through. They've still got to bat. And batting has been their Achilles heel this season, but they could have been looking at chasing 200 plus here, and they've hauled this right back, and I think they've shown a bit of courage.
48 for 3 off the last 7. Net score for Glamorgan. So that's, you know, not much more than a run a ball.
Darcy Short is going to bowl.
So he's bowled 2 overs for 20 at the moment.
Surely David Payne's going to bowl the last one, isn't he? That's reverse swept. Tribe getting funky and placing it beautifully into the gap. I like the look of Tribe. I think he's a nice player. Going through Crouching, the club is renowned for developing young players. And he's got hold of that. That's gone for a huge 6. Halfway to the back of the mound stand on the long boundary. And Darcy Short. You can't bowl short here. Pardon the pun.
You can see why Jack Taylor might have given him this over, because he is an unusual bowler, bowling at a relatively inexperienced batter.
Well, yeah, but if you're bowling half trackers,
I get that.
you're going to go. Whatever you bowl. That scream down the ground, muscled straight, and 14 off 3 balls here. This is the good work being undone somewhat.
Yeah, Ollie Price going to retrieve the ball from somewhere underneath the main covers. But it's been an expensive start to this, a 162, so Glamorgan now might get to 170.
Might get to 180.
Well, that's
a full bunger. That's gone to the back of the mound stand as well. This is poor. 20 or 4 balls.
I have to say though, Dan, if I was at the other end, it wouldn't be 20 or 4 balls. Might be 2.
Be 24 with you, Ian. And you'd have hit it into the college as well. You wouldn't just have got one to creep over the road, you'd have smashed the windows in the college.
Tribe to 43.
Oh, that's dropped, caught and bowled. Smash back at the bowler, and they're going to come back for 2, are they? Oh! Imad would have been run out, but Tribe keeps the strike.
1 ball left. You want a single here, so he can be on strike at the start of the last over. Now, we were saying that there hadn't been one really big over at any point.
Oh, is that Bancroft's asked the question on the stumping, whips the bails off, but Darcy Short finishes his spell. 3 overs, none for 42.
So 22 off the over. So Glamorgan definitely in the game now with this total.
And it is David Payne to take the last over, as we thought, Ian.
Yeah, no surprise. So how many overs will have been bowled by spin in all?
That's
10.
22 off the 19th there.
So 10 overs bowled by spin for Gloucestershire in the innings.
Yeah, but 22 off the 19th, you do wonder whether that could be match defining.
So Payne to bowl the last over. pulled away by Imad Wasim for a single. He was only interested in one run because he wants to get Tribe on strike.
He hasn't got a number on his back, has he?
He hasn't, no.
No.
I think they only signed him on Thursday. And when the squad was announced for the game last night, he wasn't in it.
It's like The Prisoner. Do you remember The Prisoner? I'm not a number, I'm a free man.
But of course he says he played a lot of T20 cricket for Pakistan. Even though I say he was born in Swansea, and therefore registration comparatively straightforward. Payne to Tribe. In the air, over the infield, and that's gone for 4 more.
That's intelligent cricket. Deliberately put it in there.
I've not seen Tribe bat live before, but looks like he's got something.
Yeah, I like the look of him. I think he's a lovely player.
He opens in the championship. Not playing like this, I suspect.
No.
175. Glamorgan edging up towards the 180. Where's that gone? I've lost sight of that.
6.
And it's 6 more, and it's Tribe's 50. And a really, really important knock for his team from Asa Tribe, the young man from the Channel Islands. 25 balls, and he's got Glamorgan now to a very competitive total. Payne again for him. That's 6 more. In the way into the Mike Proctor stand. Well, if he can do it, Gloucestershire will hope that their players can do it as well.
Yeah, he might look like a maths boff in Asa Tribe, but I'll tell you what, this could be the winning algorithm he's got here.
148 for 6 with 2 overs to go, and now 33, we're to 39 in 10 balls. Imad Wasim's decision was to give Tribe the strike. Take a single and watch from the other end. That looks the right call at the moment. 2 balls to go. Payne to Tribe. And that's aerial once again. He's dropping safe away out towards wide long off, and he'll pick up a couple.
Tell you what, it's not often you see David Payne go in the 40s.
No, he's taken 2 for 43 now. But, 4.66 in the last over. And now Glamorgan could be getting north of 190. Which will take some chasing. Payne to bowl the last ball. And it's outside the off stump. Tribe can't reach it, but he's done his damage before, and he finishes as Glamorgan's highest scorer in the innings. 63 not out, 189 for 6, 19 off the last over. And put another way, they've scored 41 off the last 2. And from a position where Gloucestershire really looked as though they'd put the brake on, Tribe has just wrenched the initiative back towards the visitors here. Kellaway gave them a great start. He looked a really tidy operator, making 53 with some lovely shots. Ingram eventually caught by short for 38, gave good support in the middle, and then Tribe almost single-handedly at the end, 63 of 28 balls with 5 6s and 5 4s.
Yeah, it was blistering. It was absolutely superb. The bowling figures for Gloucestershire: David Payne 4 overs, 2 for 42. Ajit Singh Dale, the pick of the bowlers, 3 for 17 off 4. Solitary over for Graham Van Buren, which went for 9. Zaman Akhtar a little bit expensive, 2 overs for 29. Tom Smith bowled tidily enough, 4 overs, none for 36. Darcy Shaw was disappointing, none for 42 off 3. And Ollie Price, I thought he bowled very well. 1 for 10 of 2, but 189 for 6, 190. Might take some chasing.
We'll be back with you in about 10 minutes time for the Gloucestershire Chase here at the Seat Unique Stadium. The last leg of this double header on this T20 Sunday, family day here at the club, and a day when Gloucestershire's women were defeated by Kent by 35 runs earlier today, and now the men have got a big target to chase. 190 is their target. We'll be back with you shortly.
you practicing? This is all the rage in California.
Got working hard on this for weeks. Glad it paid off. Sorry, bad guys.
Many congratulations. First trip over to England, or just the first cricket match? Firstly, more than welcome.
First cricket match ever, and we're having great times. Thank you.
So, many congratulations. Just out of interest, what's your favourite type of apple?
Thatcher is what should happen, for sure.
Ah, very good, very good. Very good corporate answer that. Mercer, well,
I like it for Granny Smith.
Granny Smith, yeah. Nice. Yeah, straight down the middle. Yeah, same. Happy Father's Day, both of you. Many congratulations. The better guys, give it up for them. Well done. Thanks to Thatcher's Cider, they won a crate of Thatcher's, our sponsor today. So, we've got one more competition coming your way in a second. It's the Thatcher's Golden Seat competition. Stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for Gloucestershire going in pursuit of 192.
Umpires are on the way again here at the Seat Unique Stadium for the final phase of this Sunday full of cricket. Game in the women's T20 earlier on saw Kent beat Gloucestershire by 35 runs. Here, Glamorgan batting first, having won the toss, 189 for 6, with some explosive stuff in the last couple of overs from Asa Tribe, young 21-year-old, learned his cricket in Jersey and picked up by Glamorgan when he was at Cardiff Met University, or spotted, shall we say. 63 off 28 balls, and earlier Ben Kellaway, also only 21, got to 53 before he was stumped by Bancroft off Ollie Price. He looks a player too, I might add, and we'll see him, I'm sure, bowling in this Gloucestershire reply, because there were 4 different spinners used by Gloucestershire, and Glamorgan have, well, they certainly have 4, and if Ingram was to bowl, they would have a 5th. So here are Cameron Bancroft and Miles Hammond setting off out in pursuit of 190. I'm sure that Glamorgan decided to bat because they thought the pitch might get a little bit slower and lower later on. We'll see if that is right or not. Tim van der Hoogten will bowl the first over from the Ashley Down road end. Ingram's going to be in at slip for the Dutch international. Just a reminder of cricket coming up here at the Seat Unique Stadium next Friday. Next home T20 fixture on what is a day very much marking the career of David Sid Lawrence, MBE. Pink for Sid. There it is against Hampshire, 7 o'clock. All the details on your screen. And then the championship match that follows it starts on the Sunday against Derbyshire. Currently, I think I'm saying unbeaten in the championship so far this season. 2 wins and 5 draws they've got. So that will be a different sort of challenge.
Yeah, it's you know, seeing Kellaway and Tribe, Morgan have got a really good nucleus of young players coming through.
Here's van der Hoogten, that familiar high-stepping run in towards Hammond, who just gets that off the pad. I wonder if there's a Billy bat involved in that. It dribbled out on the leg side. No, just off the pad. And Gloucestershire away with a leg bye.
You know, with the likes of Tom Bevan as well. He's a little bit older, but Will Smale. How old's Smale? Smale's 24. They've got a good sort of group coming through of sort of young, early to mid-20s guys.
Now for the right-hander, Ingram has dropped back to short fine leg. Van der Hoogten from wide of the crease. Bancroft finds the fielder, who is Tribe, at backward point inside the circle. No run.
The head coach at Glamorgan, Richard Dawson, will know all about this ground.
Yes, he'll know in in theory, how you should defend on it. I think if Dawson was with a Gloucestershire team with 190 on the board, they'd be pretty confident of winning. Van der Hoogten in, and Bancroft plays that back up the pitch. Fields off his own bowling. Bancroft's highest score so far in the tournament is 28. In fact, Ollie Price is the only batter to have got a 50 so far.
That tells the story.
Van der Hoogten, again wide of the crease, and again straight to Tribe by Bancroft. The key point for Gloucestershire here will be not to lose wickets in the power play. All right, you might lose one, but you don't want to, in a biggest chase like this, you've got to keep as much of the batting in hand as possible. Van Beeren batting at 7. And then Achter shielding the rest of the bowlers. Bancroft again on strikes, squeezes a single out on the offside, but that's a tidy start from Tim van der Hoogten. 2 singles in that over. 1 ball to go still. Actually, one of those singles was a leg by, of course, not against his analysis. Now has Hammond got an explosive finish to it then? He's pulled the man at mid-wicket a bit straighter for Van der Hoogten. Staying over the wicket to Hammond. He can't get that away past Carlson, who was live wired onto it. So just one off the bat and a leg by in Van der Hoogten's opening over. I wonder if they're going to... They're going to give it to Imad Wasim to bowl, hit the first over from this pavilion end, the slow left armour, so a spinner into the attack straight away.
Yeah, well, Imad,
bold or foolish, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. Swansea born. I don't think Glamorgan have played at St Helens, have they, at Swansea, for a number of years now?
No.
They tend to play in the Metro Bank at the Knoll at Neath, don't they?
Yes.
They've used a number of outgrounds.
Well, the St Helens is now being developed by, I want to say the Ospreys. That's what I mean, isn't it?
Here's Wasim. That's short and punched by Bancroft into the covers.
So that effectively the cricket ground would be too small now, I think, for county cricket.
Right. And lovely steps going up to the pavilion. Bancroft. Big shout for LBW. I think there was some bat involved, but whether it was pad first, I don't know.
Well, Wasim asked the umpire, who clearly said why not, and he just nodded. So he was clearly satisfied with the explanation.
Let's just turn around the corner. They'll come through for 1. Hammond has to hurry up, but yeah, Glamorgan have played a number of outgrounds. Abergavenny, Andrew Simons went ballistic over there, didn't he? 18 sixes, was it?
It was
16 sixes.
Might be 16.
Yeah, for Gloucestershire.
Yeah. Good friend of mine was there that day.
Under the gorgeous Sugarloaf Mountain. I played at Colwyn Bay.
Been there.
BP ground, Llandarcy.
No, I haven't been there.
Hammond goes reverse sweeping and misses it.
This is a quiet start, isn't it?
There are sort of, you know, people go to outgrounds and make a weekend of it, don't they? And you can have a, you know, taking the missus away for a romantic weekend, but if you wanted to take her away to an oil refinery ground, BP Llandarcy, I think you'd be getting divorced quite quickly. And Imad Wasim going into the pitch, and these two have got some slow starts this season. Against Somerset the other night it was quite slow, and against Kent First 3 overs only provided 14. And I wonder if it's something potentially that might need changing in the Gloucestershire order. Hammond pushes that into the offside, no run. I mean, we've seen in recent years...
Just a single off Imad's over.
Yeah, just one. We've seen in recent years that, you know, Hammond's come out and reverse swept a 6 first ball of the game against Sussex in 22. And he seems a lot more circumspect these days, doesn't he? He seems a lot more sort of correct. I wonder if it's under orders from the coaching staff. It might be. But it's quite interesting to see they're being a little bit more conservative at the top of the order.
Well, they can't wait too long here. Van der Hoogten again to Bancroft. And it might go all the way for 4. It does in the end. Kellaway with a long chase, thought he might have stopped it. Ingram certainly wasn't for chasing that. But in the end, Kellaway couldn't haul it in as it went to the rope at long leg for 4. So Bancroft with the first boundary of the innings.
Great effort from Kellaway.
Very nearly stopped it. Number 190 is the target. Van der Hoogten and to Bancroft. Oh, that's a good shot. That will be as clean as you like. Away over cow corner for 6. That's quite a big hit, actually. And we said the first over was quiet. Well, we've gone 4 and then a very, very clean strike for a 6. Bancroft twiddles the bat and will now wait. And this is where Gloucestershire needed to get up and away. Van der Hoogten from the far end. Ooh, just a slightly different line outside the off stump. Bancroft tries to cut and doesn't get a touch through to Cook.
Yeah, that's what Gloucestershire needed. They needed to...
Just as a guide, Glamorgan were 48 for 2 at the end of the power play. So, sun's just gone in. It's been a lovely day though. And Bancroft tries to force that away through extra covers where he wanted to play it, but he was inside the line. And again, through to Cook, no run.
They were 48 for 2, but it's not often that you get, say, the 19th where 22 comes off it.
No.
So Gloucestershire have to bear that in mind. They have to stay a little bit ahead, I think, of Glamorgan right through the run chase here.
And also at 48 for 2, Kellaway, I think, had 34 out of 48. So, you know, you had one batter who was really well set, or looked well set at that stage. Van der Hoogten off a slightly shorter run. Wide of the crease, can't get that away, Bancroft. He's been a steady player, hasn't he, Van der Hoogten, for Glamorgan?
Oh, what, he's a warrior, isn't he?
You know, long service in South Wales.
His name has ruined many a microphone that's been drowned in phlegm by saying his name. Van der Hoogten.
Oh, very short, could be called a wide. Not by Paul Baldwin. Slightly fortunate to get away with that, but anyway, much better over for Gloucestershire with the 4 and the 6 in it. But they're chasing 190 here in 20 overs, having lost the toss. Glamorgan batting first. And Imad Wasim's going to have a second over. 13 for no wicket off 3. Wasim's is not, Imad Wasim's actually not the most classical, is it? It's a not quite Paul Adams, but
it's a crab-like approach, isn't it?
It is.
Hammond yet to score, been there 6 balls.
He may not have seen much of this particular left arm spinner.
That screamed through the offside, but can't pierce the field, Miles Hammond.
Carlson to throw the ball in there, and Bancroft was turned the other way, and he very nearly hit him inadvertently.
It's again, Hammond can't get that through. Carlson doing the fielding at extra cover.
He's only got one man on the leg side, Imad Wasim, saving one
Yeah.
in front of square. So in theory Hammond would be attacking that slightly shorter boundary, but he can't get in the right place to play the shot.
Here we go, that's pulled and out. Straight down the throat of Kellaway. And Miles Hammond departs for a 9-ball duck, and Imad Wasim is 1 for 1 off 9 balls. Catherine Zeta-Jones might come from Swansea, but if Imad Wasim continues like this, he'll be the most beautiful thing from that city.
Well, Hammond just could not read him, couldn't get him away. Everything was being forced into the overpopulated offside, and now Darcy Short out at number 3. And in a strange way, if Hammond couldn't get the ball away, it wasn't a disaster he was out, because somebody else needs to. So you kind of sacrifice your own wicket, don't you?
Ollie Price at 3 instead of Darcy Short. Interesting.
No, it is Short. It's 62, not 67.
Oh, sorry. It is Darcy Short.
I'm sure that Price will be Price, Jack Taylor, Charlesworth, and then Van Beeren, I would think, will be the batting order. But this is the 4th over. I know that Gloucestershire really accelerated towards the end of that Kent chase, such that they were so close at the end, they were probably irritated they didn't win. But whether they can do that here.
I think these are bigger boundaries, though. You can't leave yourself too much.
Bigger boundaries and possibly a better attack as well.
Yeah.
Wasim.
Let's just turn around the corner.
At least it keeps the right and left hand combination together, with Short coming out at 3. Mason Crane's down in front of us. I'm sure he'll be important with the ball here today. Former Hampshire leg spinner.
Clouded over a little bit here.
Wasim to Bancroft.
Around the wicket. Bancroft playing that one down the ground to long on. That's 1. Asa Tribe patrolling down there. That completes the end of the 4th over. Just 15 on the board. And the loss of Miles Hammond.
And there's the rate in front of you. 10.94 is now the rate that's required for Gloucestershire to get to their target. But Ned Leonard moved from Somerset to Glamorgan to try and get some more opportunities in all formats. And in T20 he didn't really get a look in down at Taunton, but here this is his 3rd game for Glamorgan, and he's into the attack and squeezed away by Bancroft for a single. He's still got the power play in play, so he's only got 2 men out, but he's got a new batter to bowl at in Darcy Short. Hasn't really got a score of note yet. Today would be a good time to put that right.
Well, having gone for 22 off his last over, he can right the wrongs here.
Leonard from the Ashley Down Road end. In, and Short turns that away past Imad Wasim. He's on the chase. They'll come back for a couple down to fine leg in front of where the dugouts would be. They are behind the picket fence. Wonder where the normal dressing rooms are. Just looking ahead to that game next Friday, I think forecast is very good again. Back end of the week and over next weekend, so that Derbyshire game liable to be in good conditions once more. Short from Leonard. Short, and Darcy Short tried to pull it and then in the end didn't get in the right position to do so and missed out. He went through to Cook.
Yeah, it's pink for Sid. I'll be wearing my pink tutu. Ian Randall will be wearing his pink cowboy hat.
Trying to think if I've got anything pink actually. Probably find a shirt somewhere. Here's Leonard in. That's going straight to the fielder. Gloucestershire hitting the fielders at the moment rather than getting it off the square. That was straight at Kellaway by Darcy Short. Kellaway's now moving back onto the rope at Short at square, deep square. They're bringing Ingram up inside the circle. So just trying to have a little bit more protection for Leonard on that side of the ground. And Short's got that away. It was too short, and he's pulled it one bounce before down to long leg with the fielder up inside the circle. Imad Wazim at Short fine leg. There's a gap behind him, and Short found it.
Yeah, they needed that. Gloucestershire needed that. They've got to get up to close to 30 in the power play.
Still to come, you know, Crane, Kellaway and Carlson could all bowl spin if they wanted to use that. Leonard into Short, he'll just squeeze that away for a dot ball to mid-wicket. So yeah, 7 off that over from Leonard. That's not desperate in this situation. Gloucestershire 22 for 1 off 5.
Yeah, you're saying about Leonard being one of the hosts of, he's one of the Somerset bowlers who were looking for sort of more game time by making the move over to Glamorgan. There's been a few from Somerset in recent, isn't there? I mean, Alfie Ogborn's been out on loan this year at Kent, and Sonny Baker, he moved to Hampshire.
And sometimes if you find that there's just too much of a queue in front of you,
you're best off moving.
Players have got no other option, have they really? Von der Hoogten to bowl the last over of the power play.
He's changed ends. Bancroft drills it up to mid-off, but Bancroft struggling to get it away here. He's 14 off 16 balls. Yeah, 16 balls. And one of those went for 6.
He timed that one all right, but there's not been much else.
No. They're going to scamper one here. Bancroft's got to be quick. Oh, he's direct hit, but he's got home. Good work from Van der Hoogten.
There's a replay of this from Van der Hoogten. Chris Watts, is he in the right place? I think he's all...
Yeah, no, he's got in a good position. Oh, that's tight. That's very tight.
Tight, but he's all right.
But Chris Watts, good positioning there as an umpire. Got round, side on.
Their jackets are nearly pink for Sid, aren't they?
They are. Maybe we could nick the umpires' jackets. Short goes cutting, but cloths it into the ground. They'll come through for 1. Maybe I have Chris Watts 1 and you have Paul Baldwin's in.
Thank you. That's him, Dan Whiting, 5'11". And me, Ian Randall, 5 foot, not very much.
I'm 6'1".
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Bancroft gets funky. Sort of reverse ramps and pulls it around over third.
But if you can't...
Going to go one bounce.
You can't time it normally, you might as well try a few off-the-cuff shots.
I'm sure he meant to get it there, but it's 4 more onto the scoreboard. And much needed. 28 for 1. 2 balls left to the power play. That's gone up in the air. Bancroft's only going to get one. Struggling to time it a little bit.
At the moment, Imad Wazim, 2 overs, 1 for 3.
It's
From
parsimonious.
his opening spell.
Yes. Short drives. Only to pick out Tribe. Mid-off. That completes the power play. So 30 for 1. At this stage, Glamorgan were 48 for 2. So Gloucestershire, they're behind the 8 ball here.
They are, and now at the end of the power play, I'm sure we will see spin at the Ashley Down Road end, but not yet. Douthwaite, by the looks of it, with his medium pace, probably pace off, I would think. So Douthwaite into the attack. Miles Hammond the man out, caught by Kellaway off Imad Wazim without scoring. And the score was 13. Bancroft has, as you can see, 20 and Darcy Short 9. Change of bat for Short, brought out by Tom Smith. Wasn't happy with the other one. I heard a conversation about bats the other day, about the sort of the comparison with a bat, say, used now and a bat that might have been used, say, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
The one much lighter, slimmer edges, the other one a club, basically.
Yeah. They were like jockeys' whips in the old days.
Yeah. Here's Douthwaite. And worked into the onside by Short. They'll look for 2 here with the field set back, and they don't get it. It wasn't the greatest throw either, coming in from out on the rope by Ned Leonard in front of the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's a good keeper, Cook, but no keepers like those throws. And they're scrambling around their bootlaces.
So Bancroft now has got 3 out on the leg side to try and cope with, and Douthwaite forces him to go through the offset. It's a good stop, good diving stop. It keeps them down to only 1. Is that Carlson? I think it is. He's generally in that position. Yes, it is Carlson. Just trots over now to the offside for Short.
Mason Crane just getting loose as well.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He got some tap off Jack Taylor at Cheltenham last year, though.
Douthwaite in the 7th over. Pitched up, and Short will try and get 2 here, but he's almost hit that 2 crisply up to long on. Only get 1.
That was a thumping win, wasn't it?
Was last year, yeah. Was it 205 played, 100?
About 89.
Yeah, it wasn't many.
That was hugely important for Gloucestershire to qualify out of the group.
Bancroft waits again. He'll get probably 1 here. Again, waits a shot, and because Glamorgan coming in off the rope, Kellaway's really ready to sprint for the little dab for the tip and run. That's what all they're doing here. 4 singles off Douthwaite's first 4 balls.
Having interviewed Jack Taylor in the opening episode of Being Glorious, new podcast out on, you can grab it where you get your usual podcasts from Gloucestershire County Cricket Club.
Douthwaite to Short. Cleaner strike this time, but again straight to Mason Crane. So only 1 more.
Jack Taylor said it was so important they won, and won well, against Glamorgan last year to get their net run rate up, and that's what helped them qualify in 4th place, because as it was, they relied on Hampshire beating Essex to qualify, but the win over Glamorgan was crucial.
Douthwaite to complete his first over, the 7th. It's outside the off stump, and it's a wide, so it won't complete it.
We thought they were only giving it a whack so they could watch the Euro final that day.
Yeah, this year, of course, only the last game in the Blast is at Cheltenham. 17th of July, part of another double header that day.
Against Sussex.
Dowthwaite from quite wide of the crease into Bancroft. He thinks about an appeal for an LBW, but they'll scuttle through for what was a single, in fact, not a run off the pad. So Dowthwaite's conceded six singles and a wide in his first over, and it's 37 for 1 off 7.
That run rate's creeping up. It's nearly 2 a ball. Once it goes over 2 a ball, it's difficult. Becomes really difficult.
We are going to see Crane.
Yeah, I think it's bingo time now. I think 13 overs, 9 wickets in hand. You've still got the power of Ollie Price, Jack Taylor, Ben Charlesworth. I think it's time to go.
Crane always bowls with that small towel in the back of his trousers, isn't he? It's been a habitual thing throughout his career.
He's actually a sommelier, Ian, in his spare time. He's a wine waiter. And he comes. That's tucked round the corner. That could well be 4 runs. It is. Just the wrong line there from Mason Crane to start with, just throwing, and Bancroft punishes him. Just tickles one round the corner. Gets it fine to the fielder.
That's what we saw Elsa Barnfather do in the innings for Kent earlier on today in the women's match.
Crane. Little bit of purchase off the pitch, but Bancroft watches it all the way and pushes it down to long on to Asa Tribe.
Now for short, of course, field changes because the natural ball from him is like the off break.
Yeah, but I reckon he might go googly. That didn't really do much. I think it might have been a top spinner, but I reckon Mason Crane might go googly at the left-hander. I think he might be concerned about spinning one back into his pads and short, picking him up over mid-wicket. Bancroft sweeps conventionally.
It was almost premeditated. He was going outside off stump almost as the bowler hadn't gathered himself to deliver the ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you've got to make a move at some point. Bancroft tries to whack this one into the club offices somewhat, but cloths it, and the ball dribbles out to mid-wicket. They'll pick up another single. Ones on enough for Gloucestershire, though. Glamorgan will be happy to keep it to ones.
It's almost one boundary and over isn't an absolute disaster for them, provided there's not a single of every other ball.
It's dot ball, and a dot ball is a hot ball for the visitors. 45 for 1 at the end of the 8th. Gloucestershire are 20 runs behind where Glamorgan were at this stage. They were 65 for 2, and Gloucestershire, I think.
This feels like the Kent chase.
Yeah, it does.
Where they got a bit stuck in the first 10 overs and then very nearly pulled it round, it must be said. But
Gloucestershire haven't had one flying start yet this season in T20.
That's very true.
They haven't had one power play which has gone for like 60 plus. You know, where we saw it last year, we saw it in the quarter-final against Warwickshire, where they got off to an absolute flyer. They haven't had one flying start yet this year.
Leonard back into the attack. Crashed away through the offside. And just one run out to Kellaway, who did his bit with the bat earlier on with a maiden 50 in T20 cricket. Played one extra cover drive that had Dan drooling over it.
I was salivating like Pavlov's dog. Kellaway ringing the bell.
29 of 26 for Bancroft, who waits for Leonard. That's forced away, a good partial stop from Crane. They'll get one. They won't risk a second, I don't think. No, just as well. Douthwaite's throw was in quickly.
Yeah, but it's another awkward one for Cook, who makes it look easy. He's got lovely hands, hasn't he?
There was a glare there towards Douthwaite.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Don't think he said anything, but there was
just a look.
Didn't need
to. Enough.
Didn't need to. So Short's going at a run of ball at the moment, but he needs to quicken up a bit. Leonard to him again. He didn't really time that either. He might get four for it though. Ingram's on the chase. He's made up the ground down at long leg, and they'll just get one. At the moment, it's too many singles. So only 4 boundaries and 1 6, and we're in the 9th over.
Yeah.
And that's where
we're up at 12.5 now.
Glamorgan are putting the squeeze on. Leonard, that's off the bottom of the bat from Bancroft, but he's got that away to a good angle, and it's 4. Up to wide, long on, just by the floodlight pylon. That was off the not quite the toe of the bat, but off the bottom 25%. 50 up.
Didn't sound great, did it?
No,
a bit
got it away.
Tinny.
Yeah, got it away well enough. Leonard, this time it's a straighter, fuller ball, and Bancroft just takes the single, having got the 4 off the previous delivery. Wonder when he'll be tempted to use Kellaway. And indeed, what he might bowl.
Licorice all
or
sorts.
both. He obviously can bowl both his slow left arm and his off spin if he gives the umpire notification. Then with a short one, and Short tried to cut it, got underneath it, couldn't get a touch. So 8 off that over. 53, so the gap is now 20. The gap is growing. Gloucestershire need a big over here to get somewhere close to Glamorgan's halfway score. In fact, here is Kellaway, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, what's he going to bowl? That's the question.
Keep your eyes on the game here, because he will probably start bowling off spin, but he can bowl slow left arm as well.
I think he might be bowling slow left arm to the right-hander, and to the left-handed Shaw will be bowling. No, he's not. He's bowling right arm. That's just pushed into mid-wicket. They think about 2, but Gloucestershire here in danger of leaving themselves far too much to do towards the back end of this chase.
Got a man out at long on and at long off. Kellaway, no surprise for that.
That's reverse swept, 4 runs, 1, 2 bounces, and down towards the Marker Lane stand. And the man who gave that stand his name will probably be feeling a little bit happier after that boundary early in the over.
So I wonder what Kellaway's response will be. So he's just choosing to go round the wicket to the left-hander. So he can concede a boundary.
Short just whips this with a touch of bottom hand into mid-wicket. Kellaway not
Will Smale and
ambidextrosity out yet.
Will Smale and Asa Tribe are the 2 fielders who are straight on the fence, but Gloucestershire haven't gone there yet.
It's Just one out to Tribe.
Crane's over could only cost 8. So when you think about him bowling at the other end.
Smashed down the ground, gun barrel straight, and Kellaway, if you bowl it with you, there's a 50 partnership up. Kellaway, you can bowl it right arm, you can bowl it left arm. You bowl full tosses, it's going to go to the boundary.
Gloucestershire need a couple of bigger overs. If they're going to a 20, they could do with a couple of 12 or 13s just to
keep the run rate in check. They require 12.4 at the moment. 11 or 5 balls though here.
How can Kellaway get out of the over?
That's pull. That could well be 4. It beats the diving. Ingram on the boundary, and that's a really good over. 15 off that, and just what the doctor ordered from a Gloucestershire perspective. Short from Kellaway, overcompensating after the full toss before, and Ingram diving over that one somewhat. 68 for 1 at the halfway stage.
So here perhaps is the predictable response from the Glamorgan skipper, Kieran Carlson, who has brought back Imad Wasim. So Bancroft's batted for 10 overs for his 37. So 37 or 31 is perhaps the more relevant stat.
Message from the lovely Callie Barlow, said our 2 favourite guys back together on the mic. Thank you, Callie.
Now Wasim. Man out at long off. Man out at long on as well from the far end. Bancroft can't get him away. That ball is following him. It's like he's not trying to spin it in an orthodox fashion. I wouldn't say it's a mystery, but it's almost like almost a top spinner, isn't it? It just doesn't give you any room at all, and Bancroft here will get just 1 run forced out into the offside.
I think it's quite hard to pick because it's a whir of arms, isn't it? And you don't actually know when he's going to release it either.
Halfway, Gloucestershire 68 for 1. Glamorgan 96 for 2. Shows you where Gloucestershire have to make that ground up. Darcy short to face Imad Wasim. He tries to switch hit that, and he's got a sweep away, and he's got it 4 for it. Thought he was going to try the reverse sweep there for a moment, but in the end it was an orthodox stroke, and that's the first boundary that Imad Wasim has conceded. It's a little bit of a different thought process perhaps about what follows. Short waits for the Pakistani again once more. That's he dropped quite short really, outside the off stump, almost back of a length, and all that Darcy Short can do is to punch it out into the offside, fielded by Kellaway on the rope. Now to Bancroft, he's got deep square and a straightish mid-wicket on the rope, as well as long on and long off back. Wasim round the wicket, punch straight to Carlson. They won't get one there, he's too good a fielder to chance a single 2. So 6 off the over at the moment. If he can get out of this without a boundary, they will feel that's a good bowling change. Bancroft sweeps and he'll only get 1. So Wasim's got 1 over left, and he's taken 1 for 10 off 3. Well, talk about bowling or batting around David Payne earlier on.
115 off 9. It's big ask now. It's a big ask.
Yeah, they're dropping, but this was the quieter period for Glamorgan in their innings. Gloucestershire have got maybe 4 overs here where Glamorgan didn't really get out of third gear. They changed it after that, I get that.
But they still need 40 off those 4 to get back even.
Yeah, I know.
And then Glamorgan had a monster of an over in the 19th where 22 came off Darcy Short's over.
And they're only 1 wicket down. There's only, only 1 wicket down still. Crane back into the attack.
It's just nurdled by Bancroft for a single, moves into the 40s, but really with Jack Taylor and Ollie Price and people like that, I think Gloucestershire need to start taking some risks now. Run rate required is up to 13.
Yeah, those sort of batters need long enough, don't they?
That's gone up in the air. Imad Wasim catches it and Darcy Short perishes for 34 and Crane strikes. Imad Wasim, what a fine game he's having.
1 for 10 and now a catch. Straightforward enough though, to be fair. One he would expect to take. And Gloucestershire's second wicket goes down in the 12th over. Ordinarily you'd say 1 down in the 12th over. That should be a good base, but they're not scoring at much more than a run a ball.
No. I mean, it's fine getting 1 and getting off the mark, but Gloucestershire need more than that. They need 2 a ball. They have to start playing some big shots.
Ollie Price in at number 4.
He'll play some shots. Jack Taylor will play some shots. Charles Worth will play some shots. But those 3 need to, score at a 200 strike rate.
He's soaked up 36 balls to get himself in. He's now got to play some big shots as well.
Yeah, I agree. 1's aren't enough. Crane. Price sweeps. Gets it. It's a deep backward square. And they'll pick up a single.
We'll see the reverse sweep from Ollie Price, I would think, before very long.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Price scores in a 360-degree arc. Googly from Crane. Bancroft picks it. Nudged down to the onside, but still only 1s.
Boundaries pushed just about as far back as they can go here at Bristol today.
Yeah. Price fetches that one. He's got it into the pocket. He's going to get 2 here.
Tribe with the throw.
Gloucestershire still requiring 110 off 8 overs and 1 ball. It's a big ask. Again, Price fetches that with the sweep. He'll retain the strike. 81 for 2 at the end of the 12th. At this stage, Glamorgan were 109 for 3.
Yeah, good. Again, over without a boundary. Crane just quite happy.
There's the worm.
To concede singles, and there you can see where Gloucestershire are compared to where Glamorgan were at this point. I mean, this has been a really heavy 96 hours for Glamorgan. Chelmsford on Thursday night would have been back pretty late. Friday day off. Saturday evening home to Sussex, and then would have got home late last night, and then on the bus this morning over here for this game. Douthwaite back into the attack. to Ollie Price. Back of a length. Forced out on the offside just for a single.
Well, Essex put something on their social media about their trip to Cardiff, and they arrived back in Chelmsford at 3:30 in the morning.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, they'd have been getting back at, you know, that's that sort of hour. Now, that journey would have been made a lot happier by a good win, and they did have a good win, but it's still tiring. Douthwaite to Bancroft, who's pulled that one bounce four. There's no cover actually at mid-wicket. He's got a deep square and a straightish mid-wicket about 20 yards to the right of where Bancroft put that. So that was well placed. They need a few more of those.
Certainly do.
Douthwaite, this sort of rumbling sort of run, rocking from side to side with his shoulders, and that's down the ground from Bancroft. We'll just pick up one run. It's gone straight to the man at long on. Time was when Gloucestershire had Ian Cobain in the team, where he was taking catches at long on and long off like shelling peas, but we've seen very little of that today. Different sort of pitch, obviously. I think that little skip at the start of his run comes in and bowls to Ollie Price. He's forced that away again through the gap, but straight to the fielder. Out to Crane at deep point. Again, only a single. This is Douthwaite's second over. So Kellaway's bowled one, pretty expensive. Crane's bowled two for 14. Leonard 2 for 15. Von der Hoogten 3 for 19. Wasim 3 for 10. Miserly. Douthwaite to Bancroft, who nearly chops it on. He's going to get a single. He didn't know where that had gone. Tried to force it again from quite a long way outside off stump. But the Harrow drive is one that you can use legitimately, and that's what he did there. Back end of the 13th over. Squeezed out by Price. He'll want two. Crane's got ground to make up away on the boundary at deep point, and they come back for a couple.
Yeah, clever cricket, Ollie Price there, opening the face deliberately and getting it backward of square on the offside, and that takes the total needed to double figures. It's under 100 now.
So, give you some kind of idea, Glamorgan were 128 for 4 after 15 overs. So 37 needed to get to somewhere near, or certainly 30 you'd want. And don't forget, you've still got this big finish lurking where they got 41 off the last two. It still looks like quite a story if Gloucestershire are going to win from here. Crane back into the attack.
In he comes, and Price gets that one backward a square. Only one though. One's not enough.
Yeah, Glamorgan have, to this point, been better as a collective attack, haven't
Yeah,
they?
they have. They've been much better. Bancroft just can't get it away. Sorry, Price. Sorry. Doing Bancroft a disservice there, aren't I? That's a big shout. Yes, he's gone. It looked adjacent. Ollie Price perishing in the pursuit of quick runs, and he departs for 8. You can't blame him. He had to give it a go.
Hit on the boot, on the full here. Here's a second look at it. I suspect it was the back leg as well. Yes, it was.
Plum.
Ollie Price, LBW off the bowling of Mason Crane for 8 runs off 8 balls.
I don't think Chris Watts will have had an easier decision to make
No.
in recent weeks.
Right, here's the man. He was the scourge of Glamorgan at Cheltenham last year. Gloucestershire needs something similar now.
Well, he got 85 not out that day, and well, if you got that here, Gloucestershire might get quite close.
Well, he was the scourge of Glamorgan in Cardiff as well, because it was his innings that actually paved the way for Josh Shaw to hit that 6 off the last ball for a memorable win.
Did see Shaw bowling today, actually, out in the period between the two matches. He was out bowling on one of the practice wickets, so hopefully he isn't that far from a return.
Yeah, he's a huge cog in the wheel here.
I mean, I suppose the target might be the championship game rather than the game next Friday, but
I think it's
we'll
4 overs is probably easier to get through though than 24. Googly to Jack Taylor first of all. He's got into the gap, but can't get it. Can't double it up. Just a single.
yeah, the problem for Gloucestershire has been number of boundaries, really. 10 fours and 1 6 so far, which, you know, a biggish chase is not going to get you very close unless somebody
Nurdling ones
really
when the
unleashes it
run rate
towards the
required is close on 16. It won't cut the mustard. It has to be boundaries from both ends, both these batters. Well, there's one of them. No, it's not. It's spun back actually towards the fielder. Ned Leonard.
Four singles and a wicket in the over for Crane. That's good effort from him. And Gloucestershire they started slowly and they haven't really got up with the rate at any point. They've been steadily behind it and they haven't clawed much of it back. There was one over that cost 15, and other than that there's been nothing else of any sort of magnitude.
They've got 6 overs here to resurrect their season, because if they lose this, I don't think they're going to qualify out the group.
It would be remarkable if they did. So Leonard bustling in from the far end. That's gone high in the air. Ingram's coming round. Oh, and he's dropped it. Will it go for 4? No, it won't. It'll stop short and they'll come back for only 1 run, I think. Was it only one run?
It was only 1 run.
Taylor skied that. Ingram came round. Probably should have taken the catch. Taylor actually waited, probably thinking he was going to. And then on the run, he couldn't do what Ollie Price did so dramatically earlier on. Now, what's happening with Taylor here? Has that gone off? It's gone off his visor, has it? Is that what he's saying?
No, I think he's all right.
If it deflected, they were just adjusting something. Straight down the ground this time from Bancroft, who goes to 50 off 43 balls. 5 fours and a 6. But a curate's egg of an innings in this sort of situation. He's played the anchor role, but nobody really has played the aggressor at the other end. Leonard again. Taylor will try to here. 1 bounce out to deep mid wicket. But again, good fielding, this time by Kellaway out there. Gloucestershire still haven't got the 100 up, and they need 190. So they're barely halfway. And the sands of time are running out against them. Leonard again, Bancroft off the middle of the bat this time. Good tumbling stop. Well fielded by Kellaway, keeps it down to 1.
That's brilliant fielding.
So 4 singles. There's been quite a lot of stuff off the middle in this over, but they've only got 4 singles for it.
Gloucestershire have left this too late. They needed to make the charge after the power play.
Bancroft, I think, caught a bit between 2 stools. I know that conscious somebody needed to bat through, but he couldn't get the power. Taylor this time whips that into the leg side, and Kellaway can't affect the catch. It goes for 4. Gloucestershire's 100 is up, but they've only got 5 overs to get. Well, they're going to go 16 and over for 5 overs. That is going to take some doing.
Yeah, the power of Jack Taylor there just bullies the ball over the boundary.
Imad Razim's still got 1 over left. This is Leonard's 3rd. Taylor skied that. Now whose is that? Is that Ingram's? He's dropped 1. He won't drop the second one. And Taylor is out. Leonard celebrates. And Taylor goes for 8. But what else could he do in the situation that those above him had left him in? Very difficult to come out and literally put bat to ball from ball 1, and that's what he's been asked to do, really. And Glamorgan squeeze another wicket out. It's another dot ball as well, and that over in the end cost 8 from Leonard, and a wicket. So it's 87 off 5 overs, and this has been a very strange chase, Dan, hasn't it?
It's bizarre, and I'm not sure the order's right. I think you can't leave the power of the side with such little margin for error. With Price, Taylor, Charlesworth, we know they can do it, but when they've got to do it from almost ball 1, it's a very, very difficult ask.
Didn't Jack play in some T10 matches
during
the winter? Well, that's almost what he's been left with here, isn't it? Because they were 68 for 1 off 10, you know, quite a long way behind the clock even at that stage.
Crane, Bancroft, just can't get it away. Gets 1. But for every single, the run rate creeps up and up and up. It's close to 18 now. And it's a very, very difficult ask, this. Needs 4 fours and over.
Or more.
Yeah. That's out. Straight down the throat of Smale. And Charlesworth gets his 2nd golden duck of the weekend. Mason Crane strikes. You can't blame Ben Charlesworth. He was on a hiding to nothing coming out at this stage. You can't blame him at all. He had to give it a go. But it's just... I just don't understand the tactics, if I'm honest with you.
Well, I think you made a good point earlier on, in that they have not had, Gloucestershire, a fast start in any game in which they batted.
No, and I think the order needs changing up. If they can't get off to that fast start, then it needs changing.
And
do you shove Charlesworth at the top of the order, where he bats in the county championship?
And the table now says that what is there to lose by doing that?
Yeah.
Cranford Beeran out at number 7. Gloucestershire in danger of losing this game, maybe by 40 or 50 runs now.
And Beeran noodles this one into the onside, but only 1. Glamorgan won't mind ones.
No, they bowled well at the start.
And the Welsh have come over the Severn Bridge and done a number on the hosts here. Bancroft just can't get it away. 52 or 47. It's almost 7 overs he's faced out of the 15.4. That's in the air. That's gone. Imad Wasim and Gloucestershire are unravelling. Mason Crane with his 4th wicket. And Bancroft, well, he's got a 50. Whether it's a good 50 or not is a moot point.
I don't think he will feel it's a good 50. He would rather have made runs in a win. But he will get a reasonable hand when he walks off. But I suspect he knows that maybe if in his own mind he's not in great form, he's just trying to play to turn that round personally, but and help the team at the same point. But it's not easy for those two to actually work in sync, particularly in the short format.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a disappointing one for Gloucestershire.
And now it's Van Beeren and the bowlers. New album out tomorrow.
Zaman Akhtar. That's... No, I thought that was down the leg side. I know he turned round and tried to reverse sweep it. If he'd stayed right-handed, he'd have probably got a wide there. But Mason Crane, 4 for 20 off 4. Well bowled.
Yeah, he's bowled well today. He and Imad Wasim have been the different. They've taken 5 for 30 between them in 8 overs. Those two. Really good effort. And because they've used 6 bowlers, they've got some flexibility now in terms of what's left. So I think that's Douthwaite coming back. 4 overs to go. It should be a comparative coast for Glamorgan from here. It would be remarkable if it isn't. Van Beeren waits for Douthwaite. Oh, that's a good clean hit. That's a very good clean hit. Full value for that. 6 runs for Graham Van Beeren. Welcome to the game. He only faced 1 ball before the start of this over. And he's seen enough of Douthwaite before to say, right, you pitch it in my half, it's going. And it did. Well, my car is behind the flats today, but that was well short of it. Nelson for 6 at the moment. Oh, there's the ball. Dan and I will be back with you on Friday for the Hampshire match. 7 o'clock start, remember, if you are at work on Friday. And only able to join us on the stream. We'll be on air from just before 7. Douthwaite to Van Beeren, almost yorked, but squeezes that out on the offside. They'll get 1, and that's all there will be.
Yeah, good Yorker there from Douthwaite, spears it in.
It's been no surprise to me that Richard Dawson has had an impact at Glamorgan.
Yeah, no, not at all. And as
Start was a bit slow, but as soon as they got 1 win, I think the first win actually might even have been at Kent. They've had a good little run since in both formats. So an actor stands tall and just nudges that away on the leg side for a single.
Yeah, as I said, they've got a nice nucleus of young players there. Glamorgan, Smale, Kellaway, Asa Tribe, Ned Leonard, Tom Bevan. The future's bright over the other side of the Severn Bridge.
Douthwaite again to Van Beeren. Oh, goes for the repeat shot of that cleanly struck straight 6 a moment ago and plays inside the line. It goes through to Cook. So that Gloucestershire card looks very odd. Bancroft at the top, 52. Darcy Short, 34. Nobody else in double figures. Douthwaite in bright sunshine. Bowles, and Van Buren just chops that into the offside. And Van der Hoogten does the fielding. There won't be much pressure on his one remaining over if he does have another one, which he probably will. But this is as quiet a victory as Glamorgan will have had, defending a total for a little while. Shoulders rocking, Douthwaite in, and Wagner's almost bowled. He's backed away. He tried to squirt it away through the offside, and the ball was no more than an inch outside the off stump as it went past. But again, not a desperately expensive over, only 9, including that big 6. And Gloucestershire, 114 per 6, needs 76 of 3 overs.
They're actually only 17 behind where Glamorgan were at this stage, but this is when Glamorgan cranked it up, thanks to Asa Tribe.
So here's Imad Wasim, who's been virtually impossible to get away today, to bowl his last over, just to absolutely put the lid down on this Gloucestershire win, on this Glamorgan win, I should say.
4 to Van Buren, sweeps, gets it fine and past Van der Hoogten. Can't cut that one off.
Imad Wasim was really annoyed that that went for 4. He's had 11 dot balls in his first 3 overs.
Yeah, Van Buren though, an experienced campaign, just moving around his crease. That's down the ground. That's only going to be 1. Tribe around quickly. Cuts it off.
If his onslaught hadn't been as it was, say Glamorgan had got to 160, Gloucestershire would not be without a chance at this stage. It'd be a very slim one, but
that's going to be 2. The crowd are wondering whether...
No, he was overbalancing, but he had the ball was away and his feet were both inside the rope when the did throw the ball back in, so kept them down to a couple.
That's 6 runs. Zaman Akhtar, the beast. Biffs that one over long on.
Just the third 6 of the Gloucestershire innings. 1 to Bancroft and 1 to Van Buren a moment ago.
That's down the ground and gone. Smale, safe as houses. Zaman Akhtar goes, and Gloucestershire, these batters coming in, they're just on a hiding to nothing. Too much has been asked of the lower order here, and Akhtar goes for 9. Gloucestershire are, what are they, 123? 127 for 7.
Yeah. So he's got 2 for 23 with 1 ball to go. And Crane with his leg spin, 4 for 20. They have been the 2 stars for Glamorgan with the ball here today. Yes, they won the toss. They had the advantage using the pitch first, but they made the most of it. So the last ball for Imad Wasim.
Oh, and he's almost had it poked back to him by Payne, but that's just short.
He has.
He's gone. He is gone. Yeah, but I thought he was like rather cool there. We were blocked by the bowler and the umpire. See if we can see that from the other end of the ground at all. But it will look rather casual. Here we go.
New batter for Gloucestershire, sponsored by Shepherd Funeral
Like picking apples, Ian.
Yeah, very nonchalant. So 3 wickets in the end for Wasim. And Gloucestershire might be in danger of being bowled out here, which you wouldn't have expected at 95 for 3 after 14 overs. But it just shows that those coming in had no choice but to try and play big shots from ball 1. Ajit Singh Dale's come in at number 10.
Well, saw Ajit get 63 off about 30 balls in a Metro Bank game, but too little too late here.
Ned Leonard to hold the last over from the Ashley Down Road and the 19th. Pulled away by Van Buren. And just 1 run. Gloucester's, not only is it another defeat, but again it's not a game that's been that close. That perhaps is the, if the Kent game at the start of the sequence ended up being frustratingly close. Here's Leonard in again, outside the off stump. That should be called a wide, but it's not by Paul Baldwin. And the irritation with that was when they finished four runs short, they thought, oh, if they would just press the pedal a little bit earlier, they might have got over the line.
Yeah.
But some of the defeats since then have not really been close contests.
No.
And that's been the disappointment. Leonard again in. Oh, that could be another wicket here. Caught by Carlson. So Ajit Singh Dale goes, and
that's the 3rd golden duck of the innings.
Gloucestershire 9 down, and this has been a real collapse from 103 for 3 to 128 for 9. That should read. Yes, it does now. Tom Smith to come in at number 11. I wonder whether Pride would just say to them, you know, we don't want to get bowled out again here. But they are.
Just give it a whack, see what happens.
I say they're going to end up 50 runs short. And it's Smith who steers that away for a single. I don't know why actually Smith bats at 11 anymore. Maybe he just doesn't enjoy batting, but you know, he was, you know, somebody who if you needed 20 runs in a low-scoring game, the sort of person who'd really fancy coming in and just nudging 6 or 7 singles to try and help you get over the line. But he bats at 11 these days. And here is Leonard to Van Buren, who pulls that into the onside. They'll get 1, they might get 2, I suspect not. Kellaway again with the fielding. So 1 ball in theory left of Leonard's spell. And then I suspect Von der Hoesten will bowl the last over, but that'll be Dan's to call if there isn't a wicket here. Most of the crowd has stayed. It's a lovely afternoon. But it's not been an ultra competitive game. Smith puts a tennis smash on that one outside the off stump from Leonard. Gets it down on the leg side. They'll pick up a single. Leonard's work is done. 4 overs, 2 for 27. And there are the bowling figures for Glamorgan. Imad Wasim and Mason Crane, the definite stars. 3 for 23 for Wasim and Crane, 4 for 20.
Yeah, the tactics have been wrong from Gloucestershire. Firstly, playing on used pitches. When you've got 2 Western Australians in your side, yeah, there's probably the fastest wickets in the world are in Western Australia. Yeah, where the ball comes on. This is alien to them. That's why Short and Bancroft lost at sea earlier on. And that's why they couldn't get the ball off the square. So I think that's got to come into it. I also think that Too many people look out of touch in the top order. As Douthwaite is going to finish us off. So Van der Hoogten isn't going to bowl the last one. He's going to finish off on 3 overs, none for 19. Yeah, I just think Hammond looks scratchy, and I just thought that the rest were on a hiding to nothing. Too much was going to get asked for them. That's up in the air. That could well be the end. No, he's got it into the gap. Just short of Tribe and Kellaway at long on and deep mid-wicket.
We've seen two quite similar games today, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Where the side batting first has got what you thought was a really good competitive score, and the side batting second has not got close.
No. I think this one will hurt Gloucestershire supporters. That's 4 over mid-off, but too little too late from a Gloucestershire perspective.
And the batting really has not fired since that Kent game, since the first game of the tournament, and even then it was a late show effectively.
Oh, Van Buren's hit that one many a mile. It's actually bounced. I think it's actually gone out of the perimeter of the ground. It's bounced on the concrete turf down by the cafe at the far end of the ground, by where the museum's situated, and it's over near Ian Randall's car somewhere.
No, I'm pleased my car isn't over there.
Sam an actor hit your car the other week, didn't he?
He did. He did. It wasn't very hard, I'm pleased to say.
It hit the tyre, didn't it, luckily?
Yeah, it bounced on the concrete before it got to the car, which was very fortunate. Ball has been retrieved. It was caught in the hedge, I think, right at the perimeter of the ground.
He's found it quite amusing, actually. I think, having had a chat with him, he actually sent me a video of Ian Smith, the New Zealand commentator, commentating when one goes into his car roof. And Buren uppercuts that. Clever. Moves into the 30s from just 13 balls. This is what Gloucestershire needed further up the order. Just manoeuvring the ball around. I do wonder if he's worth a go at the top.
Pressure's gone, hasn't it?
Well, it has.
One ball to go. I think going to be 40 short.
Yeah, this is the last knockings of this game. And that's pulled down to Van der Hoogten. That'll be the single. Van Buren ends up on 33 not out. Tom Smith on 3 not out. Gloucestershire finish up on 149 for 9, and they lose this game by 40 runs. Ian, a disappointing day at the office.
Yeah, and 40 runs in a T20 game is quite a lot.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's not like 10 runs where you think, oh, you know, one wicket here or there, or one big shot here or there, and we might have won that. Actually, the damage was done, arguably, between overs 5 and 10, where there wasn't much of an acceleration by two batters who were both, relatively speaking, in inverted commas, in. And when you can't get 100 in, you know, inside 14 overs, when you've still got some of the top order there, you either got to give credit to the opposition bowling attack, fair play. You can't say Glamorgan spinners in particular.
Yeah.
You know, was Eamon Crane bowled well? But if Gloucestershire can't get those batters away, then they need to get people in who can. Now, it's wrong to say that, you know, you should sacrifice your wicket, but there's going to be more thought again, you would think, now that the table is as it is, and chances of qualification virtually gone. Right, let's try a few things.
Do you think the order's right?
Well, the order was proved to be right last year, but
Are they missing Bo Webster?
they are missing Webster. That's true. Short got runs today, hasn't really got runs in any other game yet. Is there an argument for Bancroft being moved? So today, what they did with the wicketkeeper situation was they left Bracey out and kept Bancroft in the team. Bancroft responded with a score, but it was a score at the wrong pace, and that's the difficulty.
Yeah,
I'm sure Mark Elaine will be scratching his head about this, because broadly this same group last year won the tournament, and at the moment this group is not firing. The bowlers are not being given enough runs to bowl at, and the batting unit, just as you said, looks completely out of sorts.
yeah.
Next challenge, just Hampshire on Friday. It is the pink for Sid evening. Do wear appropriate colours if you can. 7 o'clock. Thanks, Dan, for your company today. The scoreboard from this match shows that Glamorgan won the toss. They got 189 for 6, 53 for Kellaway at the top of the order, supported by 38 from Ingram, but it was Asa Tribe's unbeaten 63 at the end, including 41 off the last 2 overs, the bulk of which were down to him, that got Glamorgan up to 189 for 6. 2 wickets for Payne, 3 for Singhdale, who bowled very well, and 1 for Ollie Price. But Gloucestershire's reply really got stuck in the blocks and it never got going. Bancroft 52 from 47. Darcy Short scored reasonably quickly, but there was nothing behind them, and Graham Van Buren's unbeaten 33 at the end came when the game was long gone. For Glamorgan, the spinners were impressive. 3 wickets for Imad Wasim and 4 wickets for Mason Crane, who bowled his leg spin to good effect. A couple of wickets too for Ned Leonard. Glamorgan take the points, their 4th win of the season. Thanks to James for his work on the cameras today. Thanks to you if you've been with us for both matches. It's been, unfortunately, 2 wins for the away teams today. A win for Kent in the first match in the Women's Vitality Blast, and a win here for Glamorgan by 40 runs in the South Group of the men's competition. We'll be back with you on Friday for the visit of Hampshire. The weather should be good. It's pink for Sid. That, in a way, may be more important than the cricket. Have a good week. We'll see you on Friday.